DCFS sent KSL News Radio a statement saying they look forward to responding to questions regarding their response to the Frankie case. Our top national story now. The Biden campaign says the president will not participate in debates from the Commission on Presidential Debates. Instead, he wants to debate former President Donald Trump on a smaller stage with just the moderator and microphones that cut off when time elapses. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 193. That's 0.5%. We're at 39,751. Coming up, let's get a look at that weather forecast and the warm temperatures today. KSL Weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:02. Here's a way to get breaking news updates anywhere you go.
At the store or in a work meeting, you can get breaking news on your phone.
You can quickly read it, swipe, or click for more. It's super discreet, super fast.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
Achieving the extraordinary, getting things done. That's the Utah way. And that's Brad Wilson. He delivered the biggest tax cut Utah's ever seen, keeping more money in your pocket. And on the Second Amendment, when others caved, Brad Wilson stood tall, enacted constitutional carry. Wilson stood up to the EPA, sued Joe Biden to protect Utah's energy industry, and won. And when others backed down on illegal immigration, Wilson didn't buckle. He banned sanctuary cities. In the U.S. Senate, he'd bring the Utah way to Washington, taking Joe Biden's agenda head on. That's why over 60 mayors, 22 sheriffs, and leading conservatives across Utah are supporting Brad Wilson for U.S. Senate, because Brad Wilson's the tested, trusted Utah conservative for U.S. Senate. Join them and thousands more supporting Brad Wilson at electbradwilson.com.
I'm Brad Wilson, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Wilson for Senate.
Strength comes from confidence. Financial strength comes from knowing you have the best financial resources backing you up. And that starts at Hercules Credit Union. Hercules Credit Union has a new promotional rate of 4.25% on balances. In addition, you'll earn points each time you use your Gold Tier checking debit card. Up to 3 times the points on some categories like grocery. Points can be redeemed for cash back, travel, and gift cards. You're a valued customer, and Hercules professionals want you to always feel that way. You'll have peace of mind with a Hercules checking account with free credit monitoring and no monthly fees. Start at HerculesCU.com. HerculesCU.com. And begin to learn more about Gold Tier checking. HerculesCU.com. Hercules Credit Union. Growing stronger together. Equal housing lender and insured by the NCUA.
Do you know how to tell if a clogged drain is something to worry about or not? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and I understand it's annoying and inconvenient, but sometimes a clogged drain can be a sign there's a more serious issue with your sewer main line. If the drains in the lowest level of your home aren't draining, or you flush a toilet and it comes up somewhere else like a shower or a floor drain, I'm urging you to look at this as more than just an annoyance. The last thing I want you to experience is a sewer backup. If you're a homeowner experiencing any of these issues, the first step would be to snake the line to see if it's just a blockage, which one of our drain techs can do for only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by a Dino Day. Celebrate on June 1st at all Sinclair locations. And here's Jason Jones.
Quite a few delay spots still. If you're coming out of Utah County around the point of the mountain, it's still fairly slow up into Draper. Also at the South Interchange, you're going to find some slowing there. Northbound over on Bangerter Highway, heavy traffic going to run through the West Jordan area at this point. Southbound I-15 coming out of Utah or out of Davis County, a little bit slow, still around 2300 north. And if you're down in Utah County, you're going to be sluggish as you try to make your way over to I-15 on 21st North. Buy 3, get 1 free at Big O Tires now through May 26th during their Ready to Road Trip sale. Big O Tires, the team you trust. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy today with a high of 74. We warm up to 83 degrees by Friday. And right now, it is cloudy and 61 degrees downtown. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Well, the biggest story today is about a girl named Samantha Corey, as far as I'm concerned. She passed away in January, was able to get all of her high school credits completed at American Fork High before she succumbed to this dreaded disease, cancer. But now we're hearing that the school district will not allow her to be recognized at the graduation, which is coming up in about a week, Dave.
First of all, how in the world do you have a policy that says no to the kid that died from cancer? Like any policy whatsoever, you should make an exception. It's just so shocking to me that this is even an issue. Fortunately, the Alpine School District is going to join us and explain the purpose behind this policy. It's 9:07. It's time for the launch.
Sequence engaged.
And here are 3 things Debbie wants you to know.
Countdown. 3.
Well, this week we're taking an in-depth look at this $34 trillion national debt that we're saddled with across this nation. We hear all the time from politicians talking about this on the campaign trail. But the problem is no one wants to cut anything. I want to cut something. I'm going to tell you what it is at 11 o'clock when we talk about this.
But it is something kind of like slow rot in the foundation of a house that eventually you're going to have some crisis and you're not going to be in a position to manage it very well.
That was BYU economist Mark Showalter that said, yes, the national debt is like slow rot. But if we keep ignoring the problem and refuse to go on a diet, it's over. So who is brave enough to cut Social Security, Medicare, the military? The answer is easy. Nobody. Nobody's been willing to cut these things. We have to change that.
Countdown. 2.
In the 10 o'clock hour, we're going to deliver the proof there's something seriously wrong with the way we do concert tickets in this country, and it is absolutely pricing families in Utah and across America out of having fun. I'm going to just give you a quick example. $6,000 or more for a Taylor Swift concert ticket in the lovely state of Indianapolis. $6,000 for one concert ticket to drive to a flyover state and enjoy a Taylor Swift concert. Or a full trip, stay, concert ticket included, to a Taylor Swift concert in Paris. Total price, $1,300.
Total price?
Yeah, for everything.
Road trip to see Taylor.
What world are we living in?
I don't care what Taylor Swift charges for her tickets. I don't care what the promoter charges for the tickets. It's the scalper that bothers me because they're cheating. They're cheating us out of seeing our favorite artists.
Launch countdown. 1.
I'm certain Samantha Corey would walk across the stage during her American Fork High School graduation next week. But an aggressive form of cancer stole that moment from her. She died in January. Well, now it seems the Alpine School District is blocking her from getting any recognition at all. How about just her name called out during graduation? Nope, can't happen. We're going to have the Alpine School District on the line to explain their position on this at 9:20. But to begin, we're going to talk about the movement that is happening on the internet to change this policy. It's like, policy? Well, we have a policy in place in school districts to say kids who die from dreaded diseases can't have their names recognized at graduation? What?
I have no doubt, absolutely no doubt, that this policy is not nearly as cold-hearted in its intent as it seems right now. I don't think anyone out there is trying to, rub salt in the wound here. I don't think that's the case. But that's exactly what's happening right now. This poor girl dies from cancer. The family just wants to recognize her during graduation. This seems like an easy win.
Dave and Dujanovic.
The launch.
Commence.
Well, next Wednesday at 9 o'clock in the morning, the American Fork High School senior class will walk across the stage. That's Samantha's senior class, but her family says the school district is denying any recognition for her at that graduation. I am sick to my stomach about this. I can't think of a story out there that I'd rather talk about more today, because I think we've got to pull together as a community and say enough is enough when it comes to these, what I'm considering a ridiculous policy, or you better bring a really good explanation to the show about why this policy is in place.
And there's a petition right now. There's a petition on change.org. There's 1,500 signatures.
How many exactly? Already. Because earlier today when I was looking,
1,505 is the last I saw. Is there more?
I think there's even more than that. Caitlin Johnson, our producer, we're going to ask her to jump on to change.org. Look up the petition for Samantha Corey. It's labeled Let Samantha Walk. Let us know the exact total, because I think that total is from earlier today. As I was watching it during Tim and Amanda's show, and I was talking to them, David, it already hit 1,510 in just a matter of minutes. So the movement online, let's talk about what this petition says. It is definitely growing. And this is what we do as a community. When we see a policy is wrong and a family is crying out for their child to be recognized, we stand up as a community and we say, the policy is weird. I mean, it's just weird, okay? There's exceptions for every policy. Either that or you just need to get rid of the thing. We'll talk to the school district about that in a moment. But here's what the change.org petition says. I want you to react to this, Dave. Samantha Corey passed away January 11th from an aggressive type of cancer, which she was diagnosed with during her sophomore year. So she's in high school. She gets diagnosed with cancer. Horrible. Before she passed, she completed all of her credits to graduate, but her family is not allowed to walk for her at graduation due to a district policy. Administration, referring to the school, American Fork, has done what they can, but the district won't budge. Everyone, including the student body at American Fork High School, loved Mantha, and we are troubled by this problem. We're determined to do whatever we can to change the district minds and let her walk.
It's one of the struggles about district policies when you have this one-size-fits-all policy. I understand you need to have some policies in place for graduation. High school kids will push the envelope. They'll try to do crazy stuff. They'll dress up and they'll act inappropriately. This has happened since the dawn of time. So I understand the importance of having a policy in place. You don't want it to turn into a circus. But there's got to be enough common sense and flexibility that the young woman that dies from cancer, that actually completes all of her high school graduation requirements, is not due a little special recognition.
I think about the kids who knew her, too. I remember when we would occasionally, it was so rare, of course, in high school, thank goodness, that a child would lose their life. But the impact that had on all of us other students and me, I still think about those kids or the siblings of the friends in high school that would pass away. I think about them too. The impact is so profound. What a wonderful way to say, Samantha, thank you for all the legacy you left us, all the hard work you endured while getting treatments, while being sick, while fighting cancer. And we're so sorry for what happened to you, but we want to honor you in this moment. But as of right now, that will not be allowed to happen. Congrats to the change.org petition online for Samantha. It's now up to almost 1,700 signatures. It is growing by the second. I've posted that on my KSL News Radio Facebook page. If you want a quick link to that, just join me on that page there and feel free to sign and share that petition. In the meantime, I read through the policy twice this morning. I got to get an explanation from the Alpine School District on this, Dave, because I have a real question. I don't see where it says that students who die from dreaded diseases can't even have their name read during graduation. So let's ask the Alpine School District when they call the show live next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
A lot of us are filling our workdays with podcasts.
When you're working, go to KSLNewsRadio.com.
Click on Dave and Debbie's podcast and pick a topic and story length.
Podcast with Dave and Debbie. Then get to work with KSL News Radio.
It's time to take your adventure to a new level in an RV from a Motorsportsland RV Center. Hurry in now for our Memorial Day pre-sale and save thousands on your next travel trailer, fifth wheel, motorhome, or toy hauler. Don't spend this Memorial Day weekend sitting at home when you can enjoy the marvels of nature right here in Utah. With a full season of camping just ahead, right now is the perfect time to get into the RV of your dreams. We've even got clearance models at over 50% off MSRP. At Motorsportsland RV Centers, we offer real prices without hidden fees for freight, prep, orientation, or even propane. If you sit down with another dealer to make a deal and they start adding all sorts of crazy fees, it's time to stand up, walk away, and come to a Motorsportsland RV Center for a hassle-free, low-pressure buying experience. Come and see us in Salt Lake, Mill Creek, Spanish Fork, or at motorsportsland.com.
Let Motorsportsland help you get away.
Motorsportsland.com.
A lot can happen in 24 hours.
Israel is standing firm.
General Pat Ryder detailing the shipment that's already been halted. No accidents on any of your Salt Lake County freeways.
Catch up on your drive home.
The number of guns stolen from cars has tripled over the last decade.
Jeff Kaplan's afternoon news gets you current, and his trademark Minute of News will get you thinking.
Moderation. That's how John Tinniswood says he became the world's oldest man.
Jeff Kaplan has you covered 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like rowing upstream. But it's a river, a whitewater river, and the only paddles you have are pool noodles. Then when a new to-do pops up, you're like, nope, I'm already rowing upstream with these pool noodle paddles. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to get personalized discounts with a commercial auto insurance quote online, so your to-do list is smooth sailing. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverages and discounts not available in all states and subject to policy terms and underwriting.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you ready to start your journey as a small business owner? Ready to start something bold? Something groundbreaking? Utah is the startup capital of the world, and we're setting a new global standard for innovation and entrepreneurship. So if you're thinking about starting a new business or looking to grow an existing business, this is where you'll find the resources to make it happen. Visit startup.utah.gov today and start something here.
Common Spirit Health has expert orthopedic care that gets you back at it and back to your best. Find skilled orthopedic physicians at Common Spirit locations who specialize in general orthopedics and repair of hips, knees, shoulders, and hands, so you can return to running races or chasing the grandkids. Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Orthopedic care with human kindness is here. Visit mountain.commonspirit.org.
Hi friends, Dan the Laptop Man here from PC Laptops. I get a lot of emails with feedback from customers. Here's one. Dear Dan, I just had the best experience ever. I bought a computer from Shane at your State Street store. I asked several what I thought were really stupid questions. Shane was super courteous and made me feel comfortable through the whole process. People need to understand how important it is to support a local company, especially when your experience is so good. PC Laptops really does love me. Signed, Satisfied. I love hearing feedback like that. It really just gives me the chills. It's the whole reason why I got into the computer business in the first place. You can get a brand new PC Laptops desktop, and they start at only $29 a month. And it comes with a lifetime warranty. That means if anything goes wrong, we're going to take care of you. Just check us out at PCLaptops.com. That's PCLaptops.com. At PC Laptops, we really do love you.
Hi, this is Doug Wright, and Dee and I had a brand new experience. I've seen some world premieres of movies before, but never an on-stage production. And at Hale Center Theater, my friend Michael D. Fox has a brand new wonderful play called The Time Machine. He has woven just a wonderful, fanciful, fantastic program around the H.G. Wells classic, the time machine. What I really enjoyed here is that he respects the integrity of the original story, but adds a framework that expands and even enriches the experience on the stage. It's the time machine, and it's showing right now through July 20th. And by the way, this is not a musical, but as you enjoy the score of The Time Machine, I want you to remember it comes from the talented mind of Cameron, who's 15 years old and a great member of the Hale Center troupe and family. It's time to get your tickets right now to The Time Machine. And all you have to do is go to hct.org.
America First Credit Union has everything you need to succeed financially. For a limited time, new members get $100 when opening a checking account or $50 for a youth checking account. AmericaFirst.com.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Amanda Dixon. First, a group of teenage vandals has struck twice, vandalizing cars, churches, and schools in Magna. Second, President Biden released a video and letter this morning saying he wants to debate former President Trump twice, but not at the debates set by the Commission on Presidential Debates. Third, water levels at Lake Powell are expected to gain 28 more feet by the end of July thanks to another wet winter and spring. Right now, 61 degrees in Salt Lake City. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
The petition online now has almost 1,700 signatures. It's entitled Let Samantha Corey Walk. It is a petition to recognize a student at American Fork High School, Dave, who passed away from cancer back in January. And while battling this horrible disease, she managed to amass all of her graduation requirements and all of her credits. But now it appears from this online petition that her recognition at graduation next Wednesday for American Fork High is being blocked by the district because of a policy.
Losing a classmate in school is something that you'll never forget. My son, he lost a classmate at a track event. They were on a track retreat up in Idaho. He passed away unexpectedly. It was heartbreaking. To this day, the athletic director wears a bracelet. 5 years later, still to this day wears a bracelet to honor this kid. So when it comes to the school rallying around this doesn't surprise me at all. That there is a petition out there, that there's 1,700 signatures that says, let Samantha Corey walk.
Rich Stoll is the Director of Communications with the Alpine School District. Thanks for jumping on the line. Rich, it does seem as though the Court of Public Opinion is weighing heavily right now against this Alpine School District policy. But I have to tell you, I read through what I think is the policy online this morning on your website, and I don't see anything on there that specifically prohibits reading the name or having siblings like Samantha's siblings walk on her behalf. What is that policy that y'all are referring to when you're saying there's a policy in place?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on, Dave and Debbie. It's always nice to have the opportunity to talk about the joy of high school graduation this time of year. But we also know that it's not so joyous for everyone. And just to start off, I want to say that our hearts go out to any family who has experienced the loss of a student before they could get to celebrate that milestone. So, you mentioned the policy. Our policy is 1,300. It's available on our website. It is a board-approved policy, and it's one that provides guidelines for appropriately remembering students who have passed. And a couple of the key aspects to this policy is that schools and students and staff members shouldn't feel obliged to participate in memorials or events. And it recommends that memorials typically occur within a week after the passing of a student. And so historically, that policy and those guidelines have been applied to graduation ceremonies. But I also want to say the district is not blocking anything right now. Our district staff is deliberating it. They've heard from the principal and the community, and they're taking this seriously because they want to have empathy and compassion and make sure that every student feels loved and gets to celebrate this joyous occasion in an appropriate way.
So the idea would be, if you're going to memorialize the student, do it in recently, or within the first week or so, and then let's limit it to that single memorial.
Those are within the guidelines, yes, Dave. So I'm just reading from the policy what are acceptable. This is not an exhaustive list, certainly, but one of the best practices could be to establish a scholarship in the name of the deceased student. Obviously, flowers at a funeral, a moment of silence at a school event within a week of the passing of the student, dedication of an athletic event or a single game to a student. So those are some of the things that have been done in the past. And so, as I mentioned, historically, we've applied the policy to graduation events. And so we're looking at a way that we can apply that policy consistently, but also in a way that's fair and that acknowledges the accomplishments of all students and takes into account the pain, the real pain of the family of any student who has passed and the students that went to school with those who have passed.
Rich Stoll is the Director of Communications with the Alpine School District. There is a petition online amassing a number of signatures questioning and asking the Alpine School District to change its mind when it comes to Samantha Corey. She was getting ready to graduate high school when cancer stole that opportunity from her in January. And now, apparently, this policy, I'm still having a hard time getting my head wrapped around it, Rich, won't even allow her name to be read. See, that's where I think policies become ridiculous, is if the policy prohibits the school from even mentioning her name in alphabetical order with, the rest of the students who have the last name starting with the letter C, it won't even allow her name to be read. That doesn't seem like a memorial to me. That seems like an absolute courtesy to a child who gave her all to get all of her credits done before cancer took her.
Yeah, in general, we've tried to find a balance between healthy remembrance and acknowledgement by the school community on one hand, and the need to allow individuals to grieve and reflect and heal on the other. And so our policy has been studied and shaped by some of the best available literature on trauma and processing and healing. And like I said, there's not a final decision. What had been communicated earlier was an interpretation of the policy and sort of a statement on how that policy has historically been applied. And one other thing I want to mention is these graduation ceremonies, they are big, important occasions. And, they consume a lot of time from principals and staff at the school, and rightly so. They're milestones for these students and something they'll never forget. And so our board has crafted policy to try to help principals plan those ceremonies appropriately. And so they've studied this and want to make sure that policy is applied consistently. But like I said, this particular issue that is in the news currently is now being deliberated by our district staff to make sure that the way it's been applied in the past is the right way to apply it presently and moving forward, because we want to honor students and their accomplishments, and we also want to honor students who have passed before they could walk that stage.
Would you ultimately leave it up to the American Fork administration to make that final decision?
I think that's part of the discussion that our district staff is having currently. There are many high schools in the district, and so one of the considerations is how do we apply this fairly and consistently without making maybe somebody who was in a similar circumstance in the past feel like they were left out or they were treated unfairly. So there's a lot of dimensions to this, but I can tell you our administrators, they are guided by empathy and compassion and a collective decades of experience teaching students and leading schools. And so their hearts are in the right place. They want to do the right thing. Our heart goes out to this family, and so we'll know more in the next couple of days what the final decision is.
Thank you. We'll be in touch for sure to keep our listeners up to date on what the decision was about reading Samantha Corey's name aloud during the high school graduation, which is a 2-hour. There's a 2-hour block of time that I've seen online set aside for this American Fork High School graduation. So to me, that's a 2-second read of her name during this 2-hour block of time. Seems like there's plenty of time to recognize Samantha. But what do you think? We're going to take live phone calls. 801-575-TALK. 801-575-TALK. Let Samantha walk. At least have her name read. Let's weigh in on this decision, or at least what we think is at least a decision that's on the table right now to not allow Samantha Corey's name to be read or her to be recognized during the American Fork High School graduation next Wednesday. 801-575-TALK, 801-575-TALK. Your live calls next.
9:32 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story: a Utah family is getting some closure after welcoming home the remains of a former prisoner of war 81 years after his death. Army Air Force technician Ballard Yates got a full military escort back to his family after DNA testing identified him. Today is Peace Officer Memorial Day, and Governor Cox has ordered flags at state buildings to be flown at half-staff. The Salt Lake City Police Department and Mayor Aaron Mendenhall will also be holding a ceremony at 2 this afternoon, commemorating the 25 fallen officers in SLPD's history. Our top national story now from ABC News. President Biden will not participate in debates set up by the Debate Commission, saying that the schedule and the format no longer serve the public interest. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy.
The nonpartisan Commission on Presidential Debates has hosted every fall face-off between the major party candidates since Bush and Dukakis debated in 1988. That's 9 cycles of American presidential elections. But now the Biden campaign says that model produces noisy spectacles. And rather than 3 debates before audiences, Biden wants just 2, held in otherwise empty TV studios. For his part, Donald Trump tells Fox News he accepts Biden's challenge.
One of the debates from the commission was scheduled to be held at the University of Utah. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 267. That's 0.7%. We're at 39,824. Coming up, another warm day in store. We'll check KSL weather next. KSL News Time, 9:33.
News doesn't just mean information or dates.
It's the story of our local history being told in real time.
Be a part of the story. This is Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon.
We hope to be a part of your story. We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Oddly enough, my new home I just purchased doesn't have any natural gas. It is all electricity. Everything that runs in that home is electrical. So it made me start thinking about Master Electrical and their standby generators.
They sell Generac, and they install Generac. Master Electrical's generator department is a premier dealer for Generac, and they not only sell them, but they'll also install them and service them for you.
And part of the reason they've decided to do all the service and installation is because they want to make sure that no third party comes in, that they are able to maintain the highest standards for the homeowners. You know who you can go to if there's a problem. It's all done in-house.
And we all know that blackouts can happen at just about any time. Perhaps you have an elderly family member who is on oxygen or some other device, and they can't bear to be without electricity. Or you're like Dave, you bought a new EV, and you need to charge it.
All electricity all the time. They also have different financing that fits almost any budget.
Go to masterelectrical.com.
With almost 9,000 reviews on Google and countless before and after pictures and videos, SodaWeightLoss.com has helped people turn their lives around, get off the medications, and stay healthy for the rest of their life. Like Nick, who let go of 42 pounds in 5 weeks.
Before this, I was pre-diabetic. I had high cholesterol and acid reflux. And when I went to the doctor last week, I had none of those things. She took me off all of my medicines.
It's been almost a year since my doctor told me I was type 2 diabetic, which was a real sobering moment. But as it turns out, the wake-up call I'd been needing. He put me on medication, but said it was still early enough to be reversed if I made some life changes. With the help and encouragement of Soda's amazing nutritionists and dietitians, I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months. Now I finally like how I look, but more importantly, I'm no longer diabetic, and even my sleep apnea has dramatically improved. Don't wait anymore. Go to SodaWeightLoss.com to get started. SOTA weightloss.com. Soda stands for, say it with me, State of the Art.
My name is Case Lawrence, and I'm running for Congress. The chaos at our southern border is a national emergency. We can fix the border, but not with politicians who are more worried about their own political future than America's future. I'm not a politician. I'm a problem solver. I hope you'll join me. I'm Case Lawrence, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Case for Congress.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
Check out AMCO's multiple financing options, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow.
AA MCO.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Dino Days. Celebrate on June 1st at all Sinclair locations. And here's Jason Jones.
Well, just about everything has cleared out at this point. Most of the delays we had on I-15 are all gone, so that's at least a good thing. We are still seeing some heavy traffic over on Bangerter Highway. Around 4700 South, it looks like there's a lane restriction there. And then we've got more delays if you were northbound I-15. This is a little bit further south down in the West Jordan area as you approach Shields Lane. It's going to be very heavy in that northbound direction. Actually, kind of slow in the southbound direction as well. And construction barrels seem to be the culprit there as well. Is the IRS harassing you? Are tax problems ruining your life? Let Utah Tax Attorney Jordan Wilcox help. Visit taxhelput.com. That's taxhelput.com. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today will be mostly sunny with a high around 74. We get up to 83 by Friday. Right now it's 61 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic.
The Change.org petition calling on the Alpine School District to change its policy, change its mind, and let Samantha Corey walk, at least be recognized at her upcoming American Fork High School graduation, is gaining ground. It's now inching toward 1,800 signatures. The Alpine School District, this is in the Alpine School District, just joining us a few minutes ago. I think they're starting to feel the wave of pressure from the community about changing its policy or making an exception for Samantha Corey. She passed away from cancer in January, and as of right now, family being told they can't walk across the stage on her behalf, which her siblings wanted to do, or as much as have her name read aloud during the graduation.
Now, we just spoke to the Alpine School District, and they described the policy, and it's still in flux. They're discussing what ultimately they're going to do. And I understand the need for policies, procedures, guardrails for graduations, because we've seen for years, decades, kids do crazy stuff at graduations. They, they're silly. They try to make a statement. That's not the time or place in many school districts' eyes to make a big show or to single out any one person. So I do understand that this is a collective graduation, but it is important to each individual person that crosses that stage.
Personally, I think it's a silly policy. There has to be exceptions for every rule, and Samantha, in my view, is that exception. John from Bluffdale, give me a 10-second take on this.
The most wickedest thing I've heard of today is not letting that poor girl be recognized. She should be recognized, and shame on the district for trying to not let her be recognized.
Thanks, John.
Let's go to Rusty in Ogden. Rusty, what do you think?
Okay, really quick backstory. We're friends with the Corey family, and we have been for Samantha's whole life. We were friends with them when she was born. My oldest, who is also a senior this year, we have pictures of him at Primary Children's while she was a baby in a crib there because she was sick then too with something. And then fast forward to this point, I was using the example of Samantha knowing that she was terminal but still wanting to do the work to graduate as an example as to how my kids should feel about graduation, knowing that they're completely healthy as well. And it's really sad to hear that not only is it being not accepted that she could even have her name read, but not even doing something to memorialize her in a better way than a normal graduation ceremony. Like if you take Kennedy, who has a movie called Love Kennedy, who went to Fremont High, who died, they did a huge thing in her school to memorialize her. And I think that that's not only accepted, but very appreciated. And I hope that the district can at least amend this situation, because I understand policy protects a wider range of things, but I hope that they're going to amend it for this situation, because I don't think that anyone, even people that have been through this, would be against it in any way, shape, or form. They're an amazing family. Yeah. She was a strong person who did everything she could to make sure she graduated before she passed, and she knew she was going to, and that it needs to be commended.
Wow, you added a whole new layer. This has been going on in her life for years, and she did this knowing that she was terminal from cancer. All her family wants is her to be recognized on graduation day. Scott, from Sandy, what do you think?
Yeah, she definitely did what is needed to get the diploma, so she should definitely have representation and be able to walk, and she did the job.
Yeah, she did the work. Thanks, Scott, so much. Want to hit Paige from Orem. Hi, Paige.
Hi. I totally agree with everything everyone's been saying. It's totally unnecessarily heart-wrenching and heartbreaking to these families that you're not allowing them this recognition. No one that's going to be at that ceremony would be hurt by them acknowledging them. It just doesn't make any sense. But this policy also, I have a friend whose son passed away this last year too, in October, from cancer. He was a junior at Mountain View High School here in Orem, and they won't allow him to have a memorial in the yearbook either because of this policy.
My goodness.
And it's just heartbreaking to my friend that she went through all this work to get it set. The school was fine, and then the district's like, no. We have a policy that says we can't memorialize students.
What are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, thank you so much, Paige, for sharing. What are we doing? I mean, just think about that. A child who can't be memorialized even in the yearbook, which, by the way, I paid for all my kids' yearbooks out of pocket. I mean, maybe there's some financing that goes on there on behalf of the school district or the school. But I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah, we're overthinking this. And this is why I think it's so important to leave it up to the schools to ultimately make this decision. I'm fine, have a policy, but the schools need to have the freedom. They understand exactly what's going on to say, we're making an exception. Ted, Cheryl, thanks for joining us.
We're getting him back on the line. Is Ted and Cheryl still there? Caitlin, go ahead. Caitlin just got him back on the line for us.
Ted and Cheryl, tell us what you think.
Okay, we have a son that passed. He actually passed through suicide on January 6th, 2001, and 2021. And we went to the school principal to find answers and some questions like, did he qualify for graduation? Yeah, here's my wife.
Oh my God.
Oh, hi, Cheryl.
Hi, my name is Cheryl. Yes, I was just thinking about what happened. Our question myself is maybe I pressured my son so much for graduation to make sure that he graduated that year, and that's why I approached the principal, the school principal in Westlake High School, actually in Alpine School District. And he was so graciously enough to inform us that our son had actually earned enough credits for graduation already. And that was January. And the graduation would be in May. And he told us that he would give him the diploma. And so I was excited. I mean, it was like a relief. And I told him, I asked him, maybe we can, is his name going to be announced during the ceremony? Because I wanted, it's an honor. I think that I am going to honor him with that. Yeah. And he said, sorry, because the Alpine School District policy is not to include them in the ceremony. They cannot. I said, I wish my other son could walk for him because he completed the credits. And It just makes sense that he would be included in the ceremony. And they said, no, the policy is not to include them, even those who are in the military deployment that are not physically there. They couldn't announce their name. They couldn't do anything for them. So it was devastating. But
Cheryl,
it's
thank
like
you.
a
Cheryl,
consolation.
we've got to run. I'll tell you what, our producer is going to give you and your husband a call back because we want to continue this conversation in our 11 o'clock hour. So we're going to invite you to rejoin us then to follow up there with your final thoughts. But we're going to continue to follow this story throughout the entire show and throughout the day right here at KSL News Radio and to Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, because that online petition at change.org is growing and growing and growing. The Alpine District promising us they're still reviewing the policy to see if they can make an exception or a change to it. So there's going to be some developments, Dave.
Especially for the students that have done enough to graduate. Having somebody walk in proxy makes complete and total sense. I would be surprised if the school districts don't re-examine this and look at it differently and say, every situation is different. We're going to ultimately leave it up to the schools to make that final determination, because this seems absolutely appropriate to let a family member, let a loved one walk in their place.
Next, Boyd Matheson walking in studio because we got some news on the presidential debates this morning, and I'm personally wondering if this means that Utah has just lost an opportunity to host a Trump-Biden debate. Dave, do we know when that debate was
October
slated for? Okay, so
yeah.
We actually had it on the calendar here. Will it happen now? Boyd's next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
You know KSL is the only news radio for your car, right?
The only news radio for your smart speaker.
Come here in the morning. It's the latest news and traffic. In the afternoon, news and updated weather.
We have you covered at KSL News Radio.
In a world where ugly siding, leaky gutters, and inefficient windows are sapping homeowners of their will to live, one company must save us all. This year, join RGS Exteriors as it embarks on a mission to eliminate outdated home exteriors, one Utah home at a time. Every plank of old, ugly siding must be replaced. Every leaky gutter must be eradicated. Every inefficient, energy-sapping window must be vanquished. Once and for all. Begin your epic remodeling quest by calling RGS Exteriors for a free estimate. Discover how a heroic team of experts will save your siding, gutters, or windows for a fair, no-nonsense price. Call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or journey online to rgsexteriors.com. RGS Exteriors, coming soon to a home near you.
It's coming, the biggest sports fanatic event ever created, the Ultimate Sports Bash, happening July 12th and 13th. Make your plans to enjoy performances from the dunk team that you've seen perform at the Utah Jazz games. Half-pipe performers. Meet your heroes like Jazz alum Brian Russell and Greg Ostertag. VIP access photo ops and autographs. Get your early bird tickets now. Go to ultimatesportsbash.com and enter the code KSL25.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Do you find it exhausting getting up from your favorite chair every day? Say goodbye to discomfort and hello to a world of ease. Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical, and you have so many options when buying a lift chair. For the highest quality, always come to Alpine. Our lift chairs are more than just furniture. They're your ticket to independence and relaxation. Plus, with our spring savings event, we've just marked down some of our chairs that are ready for you to take home. With an unbelievable warranty, you can shop with confidence knowing your comfort is our priority. So stop by any of our 11 locations today and explore our high-quality inventory, or visit us online at alpinehomemedical.com. That's alpinehomemedical.com.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Achieving the extraordinary, getting things done. That's the Utah way. And that's Brad Wilson. He delivered the biggest tax cut Utah's ever seen, keeping more money in your pocket. And on the Second Amendment, when others caved, Brad Wilson stood tall, enacted constitutional carry. Wilson stood up to the EPA, sued Joe Biden to protect Utah's energy industry, and won. And when others backed down on illegal immigration, Wilson didn't buckle. He banned sanctuary cities. In the U.S. Senate, he'd bring the Utah way to Washington, taking Joe Biden's agenda head on. That's why over 60 mayors, 22 sheriffs, and leading conservatives across Utah are supporting Brad Wilson for U.S. Senate, because Brad Wilson's the tested, trusted Utah conservative for U.S. Senate. Join them and thousands more supporting Brad Wilson at electbradwilson.com.
I'm Brad Wilson, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Wilson for Senate.
You love the feel behind the wheel.
Jody Wilkinson here. You'll love the great selection of new Acuras here at Jody Wilkinson Acura. I'm proud to say that inventory is back to normal and we have many new Acuras for you to choose from. Currently, Acura Financial Services is offering 3.9% APR for up to 60 months on the new 2024 super handling all-wheel drive Acura MDX. Would you prefer to lease? You can lease the new 2024 Acura MDX for only $559 monthly. What's not to love? Great selection, 3.9% APR, or lease the MDX for only $559 monthly. For offer details, text MDX to 57500 or come see us here at Jody Wilkinson Acura.
Jody Wilkinson.
Downtown.
Acura.
1111 South Main.
Monster winds can cause huge damage to your roof that you can't see. Don't wait for a disaster. Go to the Masters at masterroofingutah.com to schedule your free windstorm assessment today.
David Dujanovic.
We're going to talk to Boyd Matheson about this development this morning that may mean that Utah will not be hosting a debate between current President Biden and former President Trump. After all, there's been some news that's been breaking today.
This was supposed to be a real win for us, to be able to host a presidential debate. We already did this for the vice presidential debate. That was back in 2020. It was a very big deal. So to get a presidential debate here, that is massive for us. That was great news. But Boyd Matheson joins us right now. Sounds like this might not happen.
Might not happen, and very interesting. Both candidates, of course, have been doing a lot of smack talking about who wants to debate and who's afraid to debate. The Presidential Debate Commission, which goes back to 1984, which is how parties and candidates have decided what are the rules, who are the moderators. It's been that way since 1984. This morning, in what was a bad version of a WWE weigh-in, President Biden took to TikTok and said, "Okay, Donald, game is on. Let's have a debate. Come on, pal," and threw it down that he was willing to debate twice. And so, of course, the former president immediately responded on X and his social media saying, "Okay, I'm in. Name the time and place." And then amazingly, so they're boxing out the Commission on Presidential Debates.
So real quick, time out here, Boyd, in this wrestling match you're running. There were three potential places across this country that these two would have met up. One of them is at the University of Utah,
correct.
And then there's two additional.
Two in Texas, and I forget where the third was. Yeah.
So they were going to physically go to these locations and debate if they went with the debate commission plan.
Correct.
But it sounds like that's been sidelined now.
Yes.
In a knockout punch. Okay, go forward.
That's right.
Please.
And so, again, whether those, I'm sure the University of Utah is continuing to negotiate and work through. I'm sure the Presidential Debate Commission is trying to navigate some of those waters. I think it blindsided all of them. And to me, this is one of those. Some people are saying, "Oh, yay, we're going to have two debates." This smacks way more of collusion. You have the Biden campaign and the Trump campaign who want to control it. So in President Biden's announcement, he said that he's not going to debate in a place that has an audience because he doesn't like the audience. He doesn't like the cheering and jeering. And so he's laid in one of his markers. And so they're going back and forth there. And then the amazing part, not so amazing, the collusion part, within the hour of President Biden saying, "I'll debate twice," Trump saying, "I'll debate twice," magically CNN appears with an offer and both sides agree to debate on CNN.
That's amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
Right?
It's collusion. And I'll tell you, part of the collusion of all of this is neither one of those candidates want to have the debate commission say the words, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has qualified for the debate stage, because that would be horrible for President Biden and it would be bad for former President Trump. They do not want to have him on a debate stage, someone who, as a candidate, will call both of them out on some of the policies and some of the things that they've done in office.
Why are they so afraid of Bobby Kennedy? I mean, what is it aside from? I mean, Chris Christie tried this right in the primaries, where he was trying to attack and call out, the other candidates, and it wasn't very successful. Why would they be afraid of this candidate?
I think it's less about going crazy or just going negative or trying to take it over. I think he's actually pretty thoughtful on a debate stage, and I think he would challenge them in ways that I don't know that either one of them have the mental dexterity to respond rapidly to on a debate stage, and that doesn't look good. You have a nonagenarian and an octogenarian running for the highest office in the land, and being able to respond quickly on a debate stage under the heat of the lights. I don't think either of them want to deal with any of that in terms of getting challenged on a number, getting challenged on a policy, getting challenged on a statement they made 20 years ago. I just think it gets really complicated. And debates are harder with three people on the stage. It's harder for the moderator. But I think neither the Trump camp nor the Biden camp, they want to control this. And that's what they've done today.
Okay,
they've taken control.
So are they not going to have an audience to cheer and jeer at CNN?
As far as we know, it will be at the CNN studios where the first agreed debate. Amazing. I mean, it takes, you asked the U how long they've been working on preparing for this. Over a year. And
more than the 37 minutes it took CNN?
Yeah, more than 37 to get it off and to get both sides to agree.
Yeah.
So clearly this was done in advance, but this is part of what happens when you have two parties that dominate. Again, it's basically a two-headed monopoly, and this is good for the Democratic Party, and this is good for the Republican Party. I don't think it's necessarily good for the American people because the debate will be very different.
Well, couldn't Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s camp play this to their advantage?
No, I've always found if you're talking about
be
debates,
there on the stage.
Yeah, I've always found you have people who will do the cardboard cutouts because so and so won't debate, and it never quite goes anywhere. If you're not on the stage, you're not on the stage, and that's when people are going to pay attention.
Boyd, thank you for joining us, and this is a big hit for us. I'm disappointed because I thought this was going to be a very special moment for us here in Utah. Texas, Virginia, Utah, those were the three states that had been lined up so far. All three are outed, so they're gone.
And we'll see. There'll be one more in September that they are still negotiating. Who they're negotiating with will be interesting to find out.
Hopefully
but there's still a chance.
Which swing state?
Boyd, you're going to talk about this on your show today. Yeah. Okay. Boyd's show today from 1 to 3 right here on KSL News Radio. Inside Sources will be taking a more in-depth look at this apparently, what did you call it? Collusion that's going on with presidential debates. Straight ahead, speaking of debates, we've been debating this for 60 years. What in the world to do with Main Street? Should it get a full remodel? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot that's happened in these 60 years, including the Smith Entertainment Group. They've come along, too, to redo a different section of downtown. The city on the line next.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Thomas. KSL's top story this hour. The Great Salt Lake Southern Arm has hit a big milestone. KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston has more.
The South Arm broke 4,195 feet, which hasn't been done since 2019. It's a big comeback from the lowest level being recorded in at least 15 years in 2022, which was 6 feet lower than current levels. The lake is still a few feet shy of the healthy water level set by the state.
Great Salt Lake Commissioner Brian Steed, though, says the whole ecosystem is rebounding. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. A criminal who calls himself The Fly escaped from a prison van after heavily armed men attacked the van at a toll booth in France. 2 police officers were killed, 3 others wounded. Mohammed Amra is now the subject of a nationwide manhunt, with hundreds of officers looking for him and the other suspects. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average having a strong start to the day, 226 points up, the NASDAQ up 151. And our KSL weather, there's just no chance for rain the next couple of days. That's next. KSL News Time, 10:01.
You know what's great about KSL's traffic coverage? Trained traffic reporters and real listeners.
Trading information and making the commute safer and faster for everyone.
Every 10 minutes on the 9s, we have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Good morning. I'm the 40% off window company.
40% off? Of what?
Hey, 40% off!
Yeah, I'll bet it's your biggest sale of the year. This week only, because you need a model home in our neighborhood. Well, nothing. It's baloney. Hi, this is Kathy.
And Doug of Window World. When you hear those things, you know you've entered the baloney zone.
Resist the force of the baloney zone.
Find Window World online at windowworldutah.com.
Or call Window World at 281-8111. That's 281-8111.
And that's no baloney.
Looking for a secure retirement plan without market risk? Look no further. Lyle Boss, president of Boss Financial, specializes in no market risk retirement strategies with guarantees of principal, guaranteed growth, and lifelong income. Join Lyle right here each Saturday and Sunday for his Safe Money radio show, and call him now at 855-355-SAFE for your complimentary customized Safe Money information kit and Safe Money book. Nothing but upside here at 855-355-SAFE.
Hey, it's me, your liver. You know, the organ that helps you recover every weekend after pizza, donuts, and all those drinks. When you have a headache, you take an aspirin. You have a stomach ache, you pop an antacid. But where's the love for your best buddy, the liver? The least that you could do to help me stay healthy is take Active Liver from New Nordic. Active Liver tablets contain high-quality, all-natural ingredients like milk thistle, globe artichoke, and turmeric extracts, which are proven to keep me healthy and you feeling your best. Active Liver provides an easy daily detox and helps protect me all year long. So let me make you an offer you can't refuse. You take care of me with Active Liver, and I keep taking care of you. Capiche?
See for yourself why Active Liver is Scandinavia's #1 liver health supplement. You can find Active Liver at CVS and online at Amazon, Target.com, or directly from NewNordicUSA.com. Again, find it in stores at CVS or online at Amazon, Target.com, or NewNordicUSA.com.
Josh loves springtime in Utah, but he hates to paint, so he called Rhino Shield.
We have a cedar-sided home at the end of the woods, painted like 1980s beige, and we wanted something that was more of a mid-century and modern look. We were driving around and we saw a sign in somebody's yard and said Rhino Shield. It's not paint.
Rhino Shield ceramic technology is formulated for our unique climate here in Utah and is Class 1 fire rated.
Gave Rhino Shield a call, and in fact, they were fantastic with the arrangement on schedule. The 25-year guarantee was important to us. This is our forever home, and we want to make sure that whatever we're doing is going to last a long time.
Utah, you can have the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
I'd say if you're thinking about Rhino Shield, just do it. It's been 2 years now, and it still looks like the day it went on.
This offer is limited, so call 435-246-4466, 435-246-4466, or rhinoshieldwest.com.
Go Rhino Shield.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Dino Day. Celebrate on June 1st at all Sinclair locations. Here's Jason Jones.
And really the only delays that we have now are on Bangerter Highway, 4700 South in Taylorsville. The lane restriction is there, although most of those delays are pretty well gone. But you're going to have to drive slower through that area because, of course, it's a construction zone. And likewise, on Bangerter Highway down at Shields Lane, we also are seeing construction there as well, causing some heavy traffic north and southbound. I-15 is looking fantastic along the Wasatch Front, as are the rest of the highways and side streets. S&S Roofing is your trusted source for quality and affordability. They have been the top roofing company in Utah for over 40 years. Schedule an estimate now. Get a free quote at snsroofinginc.com. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
And look for partly cloudy skies with a warming trend, 74 today, 83 by Friday. And right now we're at 61 degrees, mostly sunny. I'm Dan Bomis from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
The talk about redoing, remodeling, changing up Main Street in downtown Salt Lake has been going on for 60 years. But in the last 60 days, Smith Entertainment Group has swooped in and come up with another plan that may very well, in my view, quash the need to redo Main Street. But in a moment, we're going to talk to the city, Salt Lake City, about that to see if the plans are still actually in the works to change Main Street.
I think this has been promised and hoped for so long, but it just took too long. And then somebody swept in with a better idea or a newer idea, got some movement. And I just don't see how in the world we can spend $3 or $4 billion on this new renovation of the Delta Center, create this totally new downtown revitalization zone, and then throw a bunch of time, money, and effort into redoing Main Street.
Let's do this before we bring on Peter Makowski, who's the Deputy Director of Business Development for the Salt Lake City Department of Economic Development. Peter, we're just going to keep you on hold for just a moment, but you certainly can listen in. I want to set the scene for Main Street, and then, Dave, you can set the scene for the Smith Entertainment Group's vision for the Delta Center to City Creek Mall and how that might look. So Main Street would be a significant, in my view, swath of Main Street that's been considered for a new look. And each block of this plan on Main Street, there would be a different theme. For example, there would be Restaurant Row, a public arts gallery. There would be a block for performing arts. I like this one, an all-ages wonderland. An all-ages wonderland. That one's curious to me. What does that look like? And then in a section for Japantown. This has been talked about for decades. I've covered it as a news reporter here. Main Street's changed in a lot of ways, but the way the Main Street's changed most for me, what I've noticed is tracks. There's a track sign right there, which I think is complicated, parking in the area, but nothing really in terms of majors happened on Main Street that I can remember. So talk about the other development that's now in the works.
So the Smith Entertainment Group wants to refurbish, redesign the Delta Center, obviously, so it can support hockey, the new NHL hockey team, and the Jazz. They want to create this sports, art, culture, convention area that flows all together from the Delta Center up to City Creek, massive renovations, a complete facelift of downtown. So it could be a pretty incredible development. We haven't seen the specifics of what it would all entail, but it sounds like a massive infusion of money, incredible changes. Is there room left for Main Street?
Yeah. Do we need both? Peter Makowski is the Deputy Director, Business Development Division, Salt Lake City's Department of Economic Development. Thanks for hanging on the line with us. Did Smith Entertainment Group beat out a Main Street redo, or both of them still in the works, Peter?
I think this is. I think they're both still in the works. What the Smith Entertainment Group has proposed is really incredible, actually, and going to be game changing for downtown Salt Lake City. But I think it's yet to be seen, what they have planned and how it would interact with the Main Street Promenade project. So we're excited, to complete this plan and get it out to the public. We've been meeting with folks all around the city for the last year or so, conducting this analysis of Main Street. And, we hope it gives people an idea of, ways that we could relook and reimagine Main Street. I think we can all agree that downtown could use an update. The Smith Entertainment Group certainly does, and so does Salt Lake City. And so we're hoping that, these conversations around both projects really get people thinking about how can we reimagine downtown in preparation for all of this growth and, quite frankly, the 2034 Olympics.
For decades, we've been trying to figure out what to do with Main Street and to create a plan and to execute it. What have been the biggest hiccups or the struggles so far to actually get something done?
I think a lot of factors. The 2002 Olympics were really catalytic for Main Street and the construction of the North-South line. We also had the construction of the Gallivan Center, as well as the Gateway Mall. And, those were big developments for Salt Lake City. And as we, welcomed the world. And I think that we've been struggling ever since then on what is the next step for Main Street. I want to say that, we've got some really great local businesses and companies that have been on Main Street for, since that time and have really been very resilient and really created a cool experience on Main Street. But it has been a struggle. I think we all know it has been. And I think it's time for us to start thinking about, what can we change? What can we do to help enhance the experience on Main Street even further and really just bring it into the present day? We're a growing city. We have a lot of people moving here. Our population in downtown is about to double 2020's number, up to 10,000. I mean, we're just seeing all this incredible growth. It's time to start investing in our downtown and reimagining our downtown for the next generation who's going to live and work in Salt Lake City.
How much money would this cost? Any final numbers on that, or are we getting close to just approximate numbers, Peter?
We provided an estimate in our study, which you can reference there. While it was high level, it still is pretty. It is a line item budget estimating the cost, and our estimate came at $125 million, about $25 million per block. And the reason, there's a lot of reasons for, that is a high price tag. But understand that we have a unique opportunity in that we have some underlying infrastructure. So we have a sewer line that was built in 1897 that still is operating and serving downtown.
I didn't know they had sewer lines in 1897. That's amazing.
It's pretty incredible.
But they had outhouses.
And that goes to show the wonder of human innovation and engineering.
Yeah.
But it's time to upgrade that. As as our city is growing, we're going to need greater capacity, to build up as we're seeing our city grow denser. And so, there's some underlying costs there that will need to be addressed eventually anyway.
I didn't realize the best piece of construction in this state was the 1897 sewer line in downtown Salt Lake. That is pretty incredible. I do wonder with the design as you were creating this, if it doesn't feel a little old school, thinking that everybody's going to come down, enjoy the shady trees of Main Street to go for a casual walk with their family and friends. It feels a little dated that we don't really go to downtown to walk around and enjoy, the green. We've got mountains for that. Is it dated?
Think that's fair. And like we've mentioned, we're harkening back to plans, from 1962 that call out for this concept. But we're seeing a resurgence in these types of pedestrian-focused projects all over the country. We've learned a lot over the last 60 years about how these spaces operate and how they work, and learned a lot of lessons. We're fortunate enough that our designer, Dig Studio, on this study, is currently redesigning 16th Street Mall in Denver. They built a pedestrian mall in their downtown, and it actually had some issues and suffered a bit. They are currently redesigning it and restructuring it with Dig's lead on design. And so we've got that know-how coming to our project as well, lessons learned, things to look out for, things to consider. So while this is an older concept, it's becoming more and more popular. And in a world that I think people would like to interact and be around each other more, I think we could all use a little bit more of that. And why not focus that in the heart of our downtown?
Peter Mikowski, thank you for joining us from the Salt Lake City Department of Economic Development.
Next, how about that $1,300 complete trip and stay in Paris. That includes a ticket to $1,300 all in to fly to Paris, stay in Paris, and see Taylor Swift. What in the world is America doing wrong that a ticket to see her in Indianapolis cost $6,000?
Dave and Dujanovic.
Dave and Debbie go out of their way to make sure you hear all sides of a story.
They're working the phones to get several viewpoints on for you.
Hi, it's Tim and Amanda. We get you the full story, too.
We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
You know, I've been working with Salt Lake City Fat Loss, and I lost 57 pounds in 60 days. If you give them a call right now at 801-450-1882 and you use my name, you're going to get an extra $200 off the program. One of the reasons I decided to pay for the program, and I didn't get it free, I pay for it just like you guys did, same price. But the reason I decided to invest in my health is because it helps me stay accountable. When you try to do it on your own, in my experience, it's too easy to cheat. When you throw down some money, all of a sudden you're not going to eat a $300 hamburger because, it's not worth it. So it's one of the great things about Salt Lake City Fat Loss. They taught me how to lose weight. They helped keep me accountable. I did it without surgery, without injections, no prepackaged meals. Get a free consultation. Learn about the program by going to their website, slcfatloss.com. That's slcfatloss.com.
Jeff Kaplan here with Josh Moore from IWC Roofing. Josh, on our show yesterday, you made a very special offer for our listeners.
$2,000 off an entire roof purchase. It's by far the largest promo that we've ever ran in almost 30 years of business. And in addition to that, we can actually do financing. So not one or the other, but we can combine the two.
So you're going to keep it going an extra day, but why IWC Roofing?
The question is, why not IWC Roofing? We're the highest rated roofing contractor in the state. We've been in business for 30 years, and hands down, because of the volume that we do and this additional promo that we're running, we will get you the best value out there on a new roof purchase, guaranteed.
And they'll do your entire roof in one day. Get $2,000 off, but you have to call today. IWC Roofing, 801-232-5690, 801-232-5690. That's 801-232-5690, or go to iwcroofingutah.com. Thanks, Josh.
You bet. Thanks.
The familiar comforts that brighten a child's day
Her name is Opie. She's a cat.
can mean even more for those with serious health challenges.
I have a lot of friends. My little sister. My stuffies.
Primary Children's Hospital specializes in activities and therapies, so even the sickest of kids can still be kids.
They've got dogs there. They help kids distract them from when they get needles or whatever.
Your support makes it possible. Become a smile maker today at kslkids.com.
As a business owner, you don't have time for automated systems. You need real support. Mountain America Credit Union can help businesses of all sizes. Mountain America has the personalized service and financial tools for success. From checking and cash management to merchant services and loans, we can help you reach your goals. Get real results. Get Mountain America Business Services. Loans on approved credit. Membership required based on eligibility. Learn more at macu.com/business.
An emergency can happen any second. Here's a few seconds to think about where you'd go. When you need medical care fast, the closest emergency room is a smart thing to know. Common Spirit Health ERs are your direct path between feeling scared or uncomfortable and feeling better. Find emergency care in your neighborhood at mountain.commonspirit.org.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
If you've got a honey-do list with electrical, plumbing, heating, or air conditioning projects on it, Any Hour Services can help. Call Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air. anyhourservices.com.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, the Great Salt Lake has hit another milestone as it recovers from its lowest level on record. Second, people seem willing to pay for vacations even when they're having trouble buying groceries. And third, a prison van was attacked by armed men in northern France. 2 officers were killed, while a man they call the Fly escaped. 61 degrees, partly cloudy in Salt Lake City. And back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
What are we doing in this country? We are fleecing American consumers. So down bad. I'm crying over what I'm seeing going on in other countries compared to what we're doing. Sticking it to Americans who want to see the Queen in concert. By fleecing them with these $6,000 tickets to go see Taylor Swift in Indianapolis. Ooh. I'm so happy our producer is a Swiftie, Dave, because she's been looking into how cheap it is to go to like Paris or Sweden to see Taylor Swift in concert compared to what it costs here in the United States.
My initial reaction was, well, maybe they're just not as popular in Sweden or Finland or wherever it might be. And I guess maybe I'll just ask you, Caitlin, like how worldwide does Swiftie Mania go?
It's worldwide.
Okay. Well, so it's
worldwide.
just as popular
Yeah.
in Europe as it is here. Okay.
Yeah, so in my view, this isn't about her popularity. This is about the sheer fleecing of Americans and taking advantage any which way we can with ticket resellers, jacking up the prices. The system has been set up so poorly and just has fleeced Americans who really want to go see a concert. You can't even afford to take your family to a concert these days, even if it's not Taylor Swift, because the prices are just so obnoxious, Dave.
Well, the prices are not obnoxious because of the artists and not because of the promoters. When they put these tickets out there, they're a couple $100.
I paid $90 without the fees. That was the flat rate.
So $90. Mm-hmm. That was for the Taylor Swift concert
in Vegas. Yep.
Okay, so $90. That's what goes to Taylor Swift. But this is why I have a problem with the way we're running things here in America. The problem is not the Taylor Swifts. It's not the artist. It's not the promoters. What's happening is all the scalpers with their bots, with automatic bots that go in, they purchase up every ticket, and then they resell it on the secondary market. That's who is sticking it to Americans. Yeah. It's not the artist. It's not the promoters.
And it's
the
allowed
scalpers.
to happen. It's allowed to happen. It's not illegal. So we're going to talk about what the difference is in other countries compared to what's going on here in just a moment. But first, Caitlin, walk us through what a general ticket costs here in the United States to see T Swift compared to what you found all in, like a whole entire trip overseas.
Well, currently, as I got on SeatGeek this morning, there's a few other resale sites. They are no longer available on Ticketmaster because they're just gone. It's $2,500 to $10,000. That's one ticket. I saw one that was $60,000. I was like, what is going on here? Do not buy these tickets.
What
by the
part
way.
of Wyoming is this concert in?
Any of them.
I'm afraid.
I looked at New Orleans. I looked at Miami. They're all about the same range.
Okay.
They start around $2,500.
So major cities.
Yeah.
But not
the next U.S. shows. Yeah.
Not as romantic as Paris.
Right. And Paris, it's amazing. But the ticket, I think, is Stockholm is about $300 for this. Is Sweden? A secondary ticket in Sweden. Paris is similar, but there are different laws in different countries that can do secondary, but you're not going to jack up the prices as much in certain ones because it's seen as predatory. But so total cost with the flights and everything is to Paris. I'm going to use Paris because that one I have the full breakdown. It's $1,300. You're paying less for the full trip.
For the flight?
Yeah, depending on when you book the flight.
But for the flight, for the hotel
$650.
stay,
Yeah.
and for the ticket to the concert is how much in Paris?
About $1,300. This is somebody who broke it down for it, who went to Paris and did this. So I just think it's ridiculous. But I am considering this now because I'm like, I want to go to Europe anyways. Taylor can be the reason that brings me there. I'll have something to do.
Well, it's a lot cheaper to go see her in Sweden.
Yeah, and
or in Portugal or in Spain, where the tickets there are $300 to $400, and you can get an inexpensive flight. I mean, when I was in Paris, the hotel or the Airbnb we stayed in was for 7 days was like, I don't know, $800 total.
Yeah, they included a Metro pass in that,
It was
too.
hardly anything.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper than what. Okay, so to Dave's point, we're doing things in a way across America that fleeces the public, right?
And it's interesting that you use the word that Europe sees some of this scalping behavior as predatory, because that's exactly what's happening here. Is all the scalpers buy up all the tickets, and the only way you can go to the game or the concert is to buy it on the secondary market, and they just jack up the price. And you can say, oh well, just don't pay for it and the prices will come down. Well, people are willing to pay for that. And the only people that are benefiting are the scalpers. It's not going to Taylor Swift, and it's not going to the promoters. It's not going to the venue. It's going to the scalpers.
What did you find is going on in these countries that is keeping these ticket prices at a couple $100?
Well, basically, as I said, there's different laws in different countries. Some have an all-out ban on secondary tickets, which Paris is one of them. Sweden, which is her next show coming up, it's about $300 for a secondary cost. But as I said, they see it as a predatory activity, and it just exploits consumers. And so I just think it's much more frowned upon. And I'm sourcing
so they won't
CNN.
they won't really allow
Yeah.
the ticket scalper to charge $1,000 because that would seem predatory, but they might be allowed to do a little bit of a markup.
Yeah, and in Europe, it's more so seen as a contract, like an event ticket is seen as a contract between the seller and the buyer, where you're not going to go resell them, and it's completely different in the U.S. of how it's seen. So that is a one-time sell between the seller and the buyer, and it's contractual. That's just how it's seen differently, and so there are laws in certain countries that completely ban it, but it's also just much more stricter and frowned upon.
Can I go back to something you said earlier, and then let's save for tomorrow our discussion about what Billie Eilish is doing. You know, I love her too. She's amazing, but she's doing something different with her concerts, and she just rolled out a new plan that will keep prices low. But you said earlier you got a ticket to Taylor Swift in Las Vegas for $90.
Yeah.
Who did you have to shake down
Well,
for
you
that
have
price?
to get a verified fan pre-sale code. I was lucky to get that in Vegas. I have not gotten one since.
This is when her concerts first started.
Yeah, and through Ticketmaster, I still can't even get those because I was looking for Europe dates, and it's like, this is for verified fan only.
So you kind of just lucked out into that $90.
And it makes it tough. And I mean, artists as big as Taylor Swift, I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing. You have to do that so you can hope that your fans get it. But what Billie's doing is also another cool thing to keep things flat.
So keep the prices reasonable.
Yeah.
And it's just so out of control. Caitlin, you did a great job walking us through the different prices. It sounds like it's totally worth it to look for tickets overseas and roll in a trip to the Eiffel Tower along the way.
That would be awesome. I would love that. In fact, I saw that Pearl Jam is playing in Spain. My buddy and I were like, is that the one?
I think
You
it might
should
be
do
my
it.
new
We
thing.
go?
You should do it.
It's not just Taylor Swift. Concerts are out of hand, and I need to go to Europe and get things checked off my bucket list, so I'm down.
Yeah, if you are planning a bucket list trip to Europe and you want to roll in a concert, it sounds like you don't have to, you don't have to pay tens of thousands of dollars to get a ticket over there. That is incredible. Great research. Love it. Tomorrow, we'll take an in-depth look at what Billie Eilish has done to make sure her fans aren't getting fleeced.
It's 10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top local story this hour. President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump ditching the debates scheduled by the Presidential Debate Commission. Instead, they're planning their own schedule. The Associated Press says this morning the two campaigns agreed to do a debate on CNN and another on ABC. That means the debate that was supposed to happen October 9th here in Salt Lake City is in jeopardy of not happening at all. Travel and experiences appear to be worth spending money on for consumers, even if they say it's been difficult to afford inflated prices at the grocery store. KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly explains.
Consumers are spending more than ever traveling for holidays and going to concerts and sporting events. AAA reports nearly 44 million people will be going somewhere for the Memorial Day holiday. However, economist Michelle Meyer tells CNBC the same people are struggling to buy food or looking for big discounts while shopping.
AAA says this Memorial Day will be the busiest for travel that they've seen in 20 years. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average up on the day 235 points. The NASDAQ is up 170. And our KSL weather looks like it's going to be sunny, beautiful, and mostly dry. That's next. KSL News Time, 10:31.
We hope you have the right app on your phone for news. You probably have dozens.
But the KSL News Radio app, well, it makes our live stream super easy.
Plus, our talk shows are right there as podcast for your workday.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
When the weather warms up, it's like a stampede, except instead of dust stirred up by hundreds of hooves, it's a cascade of phone calls to Advanced Window Products. This is Jeff Kaplan. Soon as the sun shines and the snow's gone, people want new windows and frames from Utah's #1 custom window maker, and the wait for installation grows longer. But right now, you can get near the front of the line by calling for a quote and get $2,500 off when you purchase 10 windows or more. That's on top of the incredible savings for the highest quality double-pane windows and frames, any style, any color. See, at Advanced Window Products, they actually build the windows here in Utah, they install the windows, and they guarantee them for life. There's no middleman, and they can pass the savings on to you. They even offer buy now, pay later. So get in before the wait grows longer and get the $2,500 off. Get your new windows this spring. Make the call. Advanced Window Products, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100. Or visit AdvancedWindowsUSA.com.
The life of a small business owner. Keeping the lights on, calling all the shots. And then there's workplace accidents. 500-degree ovens, rusty nails. Danger lurks around every corner. Workplace accidents can happen, but there is an easy way to keep your employees covered. Talk to your agent about workers' comp coverage from Pi, or go to piinsurance.com and get a quote. Safety first, then Pi Insurance. Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to policy terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
It's blockbuster season at Megaplex Theaters. It's time to celebrate with family and friends with the newest and nicest luxury recliners on the biggest screens at Megaplex Theaters. Megaplex movie tickets are on sale now for the charming Imaginary Friends movie called If, or laugh along with the lasagna-loving Garfield movie, as well as the movie with all the feels, Inside Out 2. Tickets are available now for the 2024 Megaplex 2024 Kids Summer Movie Series, including sensory-friendly screenings and special benefits for families on WIC or SNAP. Details at megaplextheaters.com. Celebrate blockbuster season at Megaplex Theaters.
A slow network is no network for business. That's why more choose Comcast Business. And now we're introducing Ultimate Speed for Business, our fastest plans yet. We're up to 12 times faster than Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And existing customers could even get up to triple the speeds at no additional cost. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability and advanced cybersecurity. It's Ultimate Speed from Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Don't miss out on our fastest speed plans yet. Get started with internet and security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to an $800 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call 1-800-501-6000 or go to ComcastBusiness.com to switch today. In 6/23/24, restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabits per second internet and security edge. Eco-bill and auto-pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Compares Comcast Business 1.25 gig to 100 megabits per second of Verizon 5G Business, AT&T Wireless Broadband, and T-Mobile for Business. Up to 3 times download for existing essential and standard internet customers.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Dino Day. Celebrate on June 1st at all Sinclair locations. Here's Jason Jones.
Accident-free, that's how we're running now. In fact, pretty much delay-free as well. It's looking better over on Bangerter Highway, the two hot spots for the construction. At Shields Lane, that's mostly cleared out, as is 4700 South. You still have the lane restrictions at 4700 South on Bangerter, but there's no real heavy delays through there. Just going to drive a little bit slower because it's a construction zone. The rest of your highways and side streets are looking pretty fantastic. Experience one of the largest gun shows in the state at the Rocky Mountain Gun Show, happening May 18th through 19th at the Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy, dry, and warmer going into the weekend. Today's high 74 up to 83 on Friday, and a chance of rain early next week. And right now we're at 64 degrees. It's partly cloudy. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Well, the data is in. It is confirmed that almost half of this country, Dave, suffers from what I refer to as umbilical cord syndrome.
Stop looking at me.
Umbilical cord syndrome. What am I talking about specifically? This is the syndrome that children develop. They can't cut the cord from mama. And so as adults, they live right around the corner or maybe one house over from mom, just so that umbilical cord can stretch. Realtor.com released some new data, and I am shocked at how many of you refuse to truly leave the nest. It's practically embarrassing, Dave.
You're staring directly at me. For 22 years, I've lived 2 streets away from my mom. It is so true. And trust me, we've moved. We're moving right now. We're moving like 10 minutes away. Like, that's still basically in her backyard.
So the headline here says, living close to mom is a major consideration for Americans buying a home. And I fell over when that headline popped up on my alert. I got an alert on this the other day to my iPhone. I'm like, I have got to talk about this with Dave. I can't think of anything more I want to talk about this week with Dave than why?
Okay,
Why?
That's an important question. Because it makes it sound, the way you described it, that we're incapable of living on our own without our mommy. And that's very much how it sounds.
Let me go get your banky and your binky right now.
Mom, will you do my laundry? Please
totally
do my
does.
laundry. It's how it sounds. So this will make you feel terrible about yourself as I tell you the story. No, my dad passed away when he was 57. So we moved in with my mom, to kind of help take care of her early on. And then I had an option to go move to Peoria, Illinois, and be a sportscaster there, or buy a home 2 streets away. And I decided to buy the home. And I decided not to be the sportscaster in Illinois because, again, I wanted to be close to mom, be able to, take care of her as well. And I think so often, as I've looked back on it, I always thought it was, so I could be close to mom and take care of her. But my life is richer living close to family, living close to my mom. I can't imagine the relationship my kids would have with their grandmother if we were trying to do this long-distance relationship from Illinois or wherever I ended up, working. So I looked at it initially as, hey, I'm going to take care of mom. But I think in retrospect, I look at it, I think my life is far richer because of our proximity. And we love it that way. I don't look at it as I couldn't have done it. I chose not to do it.
That is a lovely story, honestly. I couldn't be more opposite, however, in how I view life and living close to family, and even for my own kids. And I'll tell you more in just a moment, but I want to dive into this study a little bit because it is a huge number of adults across this country. Realtor.com puts the number at 47%, saying they've moved or plan to move themselves or their mom so they can be closer together. And
not dad.
Not dad.
This is saying specifically for mom?
This is mom.
Okay. Dad, you live wherever.
This is just this survey was released just a couple of days ago, about 10 days ago. 20% of U.S. adults said they moved in with their mom. It's not. There's a number of reasons why I think this is happening. There is a really deep emotional connection to mom. Perhaps there's like what your family went through with the sudden and devastating loss of your father at a very young age. I think also a lot of Americans simply can't afford to leave the nest right now. And so that's why we're seeing these numbers as high as they are. When I look at the median price of a home, I'll take just Sandy, Utah, for an example. The median selling price right now for a home, the median market price right now, they put it at about $650,000 in Sandy, Utah. That's a little low in my view. I think it's probably, there's some homes that are going to cost a little less than that, and some houses are going to cost more than that. But if you're looking at a $700,000 home and you're young, you're never going to be able to live close to mom anymore. So I think perhaps the affordability is being a thing of the past. We're going to start seeing more and more children as they grow into adulthood be forced to move into the suburbs or further away, or maybe even move across state lines to be able to afford a home in a state that's much more affordable. So what do you think about that?
I think a lot of this is our culture here in America. I've lived, in other places. I've lived in Europe. I think we have become so accustomed to living on our own and doing things on our own. That is not how a lot of the world lives. Living with mom, having mom and dad live with you, intergenerational housing, that is very, very common. I think we are fairly unique in America where we will let, our parents live, a widowed parent or widower, they will live on their own in a home with 5 bedrooms, because that's the home they raise their family in. I think culturally, we are very, very comfortable with letting mom live on her own, and we justify it by moving close and saying, oh, well, you can live on your own, mom. We'll be close, but I'm right here. We have some separation.
Even though there's nothing going on with mom, she can take care of herself.
Yeah.
And she doesn't necessarily need you to come over and administer medication or something like
right.
that. So I think there's also a sense of obligation. Some
For
people
sure.
feel obligated.
Yeah.
They feel badly leaving their parents behind. We got a little bit of that going on right now.
I think that's a good thing, though. Honestly, that obligation, I think you should feel some of that obligation.
Absolutely not. And that's where I fall totally on the opposite side of this fence from you. I have told my kids, you never have to feel obligated. I mean, even when I am a ripe old age and I can't get around on my own, Mama's saving enough money that you can stick me in a home, a retirement home, and go live your life. You should never feel obligated to go buy a home around the corner from me that I got at a really great price because I'm 30 years older than you and I was born at the right time to be able to afford a home. You should spread your wings. Go live out of the country for a while. My oldest daughter just got back from Miami. She was living there for almost 2 years, and I just talked to her last night. And she said that was the best thing she's ever done, is just going out and being on her own. Look, this is why I always tell my kids, and I will say it just like this, and this was why God invented airplanes. I can get on a flight and come see you. This is why we've invented FaceTime now. We can look at each other over the phone and talk to each other. I feel like we should give our kids the freedom. This is just how I feel as a parent. And also verbally let them know, not just expect them to move down the street, but verbally let them know that it is okay. It's your life now. I'm happy to be your mother. I was privileged to be able to raise you, but it is your life to go live as you see fit. There's absolutely no obligation for you to live 2 blocks away from me. That's what I tell my kids.
I like it. I mean, I see your point. I also like mine too. I think there's dynamics, right? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you don't maybe have the best relationship with your family members. You don't want to live close to them. But I think in general, I think if you can...
I think that can cause some rifts, what you just said, Dave, that sometimes not both people in a relationship don't agree with living next to the in-laws or the outlaws.
Yeah.
And it causes some heartburn. It
Definitely.
Causes some stress in the relationship. I think we should take live phone calls. Dave and I talking about the housing market every single day, every week, with the help of our friends at the Sturm team. And today's one of those days. We're talking about living close to mom. that it is a major consideration for Americans who are buying homes. Some 50% of Americans say they either have moved or plan to move themselves close to their mom or move their mom close to them. Wow. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Do you love or do you hate the idea of living close to mom? Tell us why. 801-575-TALK. 801-575-TALK. That's next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Current events can have a lot of moving parts. Our job is to make it easy to keep up.
You're part of a bigger world, so spend 15 or 20 minutes here and be part of it.
Join us weekday mornings between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
If you have a loved one that is struggling with addiction, I think everybody in America either has somebody close to them or you yourself have struggled with addiction. Renaissance Ranch wants to be able to help you out as much as they can, and they do it by involving the entire family.
Yeah, they have also won Best in State, winning substance abuse and mental health treatment awards for all that they're doing for the community. They're faith-based, and they're clinically proven for more than 20 years.
One of the things they offer to try to get the family involved is to give you a resource with weekly online classes. They're open to the public. They're free. You can attend as many as you wish because they know when the loved ones are involved in the recovery process, the chance of a positive outcome skyrockets.
I was on renaissanceranch.com not long ago just looking at all of the things that their alumni were saying about them. You need to go read the comments. I think you'll be sold at renaissanceranch.com. That's renaissanceranch.com.
With interest rates coming back down, I bet the real estate market will pick back up in 2024. We're already seeing that, Tim.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter how the market is doing when you have the right team. So if you're looking to sell your house, now you want to downsize or you need more space, you need the Stern team.
The Stern team has taught us, I can think of a handful of things that I would worry about if I was buying or selling, but there are 100 details that are involved in selling a home, and they have lots of people that are handling every detail so nothing falls through the cracks.
And they have so many different options. I mean, I worked with Cammie there at the Stern team, and she was awesome. But if you need an instant cash offer, you can do that. If you need to buy before you sell, you can do that. They have flexible fees.
They also have people that they represent that are looking to buy a home, so maybe they can make that perfect connection within the Stern team.
So don't put off selling your house or buying a house because you think the market isn't just right. The market is right with the Stern team.
Go online to sternteam.com or just Google the Stern team.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
For over 22 years, speaking on business on KSL News Radio has been a beloved tradition, celebrating our heroic business leaders and Utah consumers who have helped build one of the strongest state economies in the nation. Now, under the stewardship of the Salt Lake Chamber and hosted by Chamber President and CEO Derek Miller, the program continues to shine a spotlight on those who make Utah's business environment dynamic and thriving. With his expertise and passion, Derek brings the stories of our business community to life. As part of the Salt Lake Chamber, Speaking on Business is proud to continue its legacy of highlighting inspiring stories, trends, and special guests. Support Utah businesses now and be part of Utah's thriving economy. More information can be found at slchamber.com. That's slchamber.com.
Hey,
Summer's coming. Better replace your old air conditioner with up to $5,550 in incentives from First Choice Heating and Air on a new day and night system help.
Have First Choice Heating and Air install a new high-efficiency day and night heat pump AC and furnace and get day and night rebates and tax credits totaling as much as $5,550. But hurry, these offers end May 31st.
Hi, this is Rob Freeman. Click online to firstchoicecool.com. We have you covered.
The difference is day and night at First Choice Heating and Air.
For the right repair and the right paint, the right choice is manufacturer-certified Martins Collision Repair. Hi, I'm Tiago Martins, and few have met the rigorous certification by Kia, Ford, Infiniti, Chrysler, Jeep, Nissan, Hyundai, and many others. But it's one more reason that Martins is your right choice. Check online at martinscollision.com. On State Street in Orem and in Salem, we work with all insurance companies.
The right repair, the right paint, the right choice. Martins Collision Repair.
Get Mr. Mac's Performance Missionary Package. Includes 1 performance suit, 4 and collar stretch shirts, 3 ties, 1 mission belt, 1 pair of Echo or Johnston & Murphy shoes. Just $595.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, even people who've had trouble buying groceries are planning to spend on travel this Memorial Day. Second, Slovakia has suspended its parliament after the prime minister there was shot and wounded. And third, there's been another outbreak of vandalism in Magna, the second in a week. Right now, 64 degrees, mostly sunny in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
I've had this conversation with my own kids. Live anywhere in the world you want. There is zero obligation to live close to mom. Like I'm talking about myself in the third person. You don't need to live close to your mom, kiddos. Or with me. But a lot of Americans either want to or have to live close to mom, 47%. And a lot of, 47%, saying they live close to their mom or with their mama.
I think there's a few different ways or reasons why people are living close to mama. Obligation, right? I feel like I need to be close, take care of mom. There's certainly that. Fulfillment. I want my kids to know their grandmother or to be close, have good relationship. And then there's the third option, which is never, as far away as I can get, right? There's a lot of different reasons. And I found that I initially moved close to my mom out of obligation. We lost my dad. I wanted to take care of her. I wanted to be close. But I have found that over the years, the obligation, of course, is still there. You're going to take care of your mother. But it's been far more fulfilling, and I've loved that aspect of it. So I think this is a good thing. I don't think it's as necessarily as weird a thing as is being painted.
By me. 47% say they've moved or plan to move themselves or their mom so they can be closer together. Ryan from Ogden, what's your take? Is this a thumbs up or a thumbs down scenario for you?
Well, you know, I certainly see both sides of the coin. I think I'm a little more on Dave's side of the fence with it. It sounds like we've got kind of similar situations. You know, I lost my dad at a very young age, and my mom never dated or remarried, and she just passed away a few years ago, but she always lived by herself, and I was always close. You know, I always lived close to her. I think there's a sense of moral obligation. You know, I mean, what didn't my mom do for me to raise me and get me to where I was on my own, and why wouldn't I do that for her, you know?
That's sweet. Yeah. Well, you bring up, you raise, I mean, it does sound very similar to your situation, Dave, and I start to wonder, is this an obligation that sons feel more than daughters?
Oh, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe not in our situation. I wouldn't see that, but maybe there's a little bit of protectiveness there.
Maybe men feel like they have to live down the street, and women feel like they want to live 10,000 streets away. Dawn from Layton, thumbs up or thumbs down to living close to mama?
Thumbs up. You guys forgot the most important word for a reason. It's called love. You love your mama.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was counting while I was waiting to come online. I'm counting the years I've spent, probably close to 30 years living away from my parents, my mom. But recently, 2 years ago, my dad died on Easter, and my mother's then moved out to live with my sister out in North Carolina, and I'm getting ready to move out there, and I don't need to. I could stay here. I love Utah. It's one of we just got voted again the best state in America.
You can't leave, Don. You can't leave, and if you leave, you have to take us along with you on the free KSL News Radio app. I mean, we just won't have it any other way, Don, because we love that you listen to us and you weigh in on this. So, yeah, love. I think we can also, because I love my parents, and I haven't lived close to them. I've lived 652 miles away since 1990. Actually, before that, because I was living along the border of southern Arizona as a news reporter in a very small town 3 hours outside of Phoenix, where I grew up. So we can love our parents. We just don't get to see them quite as often.
Remember, we were just hearing this the other day about a dad girl. Well, there's mama's boy too. Right. I mean, and there's no question when it comes to being a mama's boy, I'm probably a solid 9.5. I'm not a full 10, but I'm definitely a 9.5.
Your family's weighing in, and they're saying you're a 10. Carlos, hi. How about this idea of living close to mom?
So, I'm Hispanic, and in my culture, at least that I know of, we're used to, like, we would put our parents in a home. They live with us. For instance, my parents live with my sister. My father-in-law and my mother-in-law both live with me, and, my kids love it. They get to hear stories. They get to learn stuff about the good old days and how hard it was back then. They get to appreciate things, and, that's just the way we're used to doing it. And I wouldn't mind if my kids lived with me again. If they wanted to stay, that's fine. That's just kind of the way we're raised to be kind of together like that. So
I love that, and I've always appreciated that about the culture. Carlos, does it ever become, let me ask you, stressful? Do you ever feel a little stressed?
Sometimes in my house a little bit, because my father-in-law, my mother-in-law divorced, so sometimes they can go at it. But, like I said, I think for my kids' sake, they love them. They love having them there. They get to hear stuff about who they are, where they come from, so they have a sense of identity as to how they got to this generation, what their struggles were. And I really appreciate that. I think that's important.
That's great.
For kids nowadays who can't value things and stuff.
That's great.
Carlos, thank you for sharing your story. It's a powerful one. I do believe that it's a cultural difference that we have here in America. I think we very easily kind of push our families away to show our independence. And I don't know if that necessarily makes things better. I think it's been fantastic to live close to my mom. I love being close to her. In fact, every Sunday of my kids' lives, they fight to sit next to grandma in church because grandma gives head tickles the entire time. All through sacrament meeting, it's head tickles. So they're battling it out. What a great memory.
I would also say a lot of people are moving in with their mom or having mom move in with them. And again, this study is just about moms. Sorry, Dad. We don't know what's going on with that.
We'll no idea where dads are.
We'll get to the bottom of this.
No idea where dads are.
After the show, we'll run to the newsroom and see if we can research what's up with that. But because they're caregivers, I think we're going to start seeing more of that because of the cost of putting somebody in a facility that specializes in long-term care, that there is going to be a sense of love and perhaps obligation to put them under your roof instead of putting them under a roof of, caregivers that you don't know that well, and it maybe costs $10,000 a month, and mom or dad can't really afford that.
Does it surprise you at all that the 4 people that commented on this were all 4 guys?
I think this does have to do with a male versus female point of view. I really do. We didn't get to the bottom of that. That's just anecdotal.
All the mama boys called in.
You have to make sure that the umbilical cord stretches 1 to 2 blocks away, and I do think that's a mama's boy thing.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour, the presidential debate that was scheduled for October at the University of Utah now looks like it might not happen at all. President Biden and former President Trump have agreed to debates on CNN and ABC, where their campaigns will make the rules. That could exclude the third-party candidate, Robert Kennedy Jr. Inside Sources host Boyd Matheson says he thinks President Biden and former President Trump are ditching the debate commission debates because they can make their own rules.
You have the Biden campaign and the Trump campaign who want to control it. So in President Biden's announcement, he said that he's not going to debate in a place that has an audience because he doesn't like the audience, he doesn't like the cheering and jeering, and so he's laid in one of his markers.
Boyd says it took less than an hour for the Trump campaign to respond to the Biden campaign and agree to a debate on CNN. And he also says by creating their own debates, they might really be able to keep Robert F. Kennedy off the stage. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Well, it looks like, again, that debate is unlikely to happen. The Prime Minister of Slovakia was shot and wounded just 3 weeks before crucial elections across Europe. Robert Fico is the leader of a populist movement that was expected to make gains in those elections. The suspect immediately arrested. Slovakia's parliament has been suspended indefinitely. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average up on the day now, 284 points. The NASDAQ is up by about 180. And our KSL weather looks like sunny spring skies the next couple of days. That's next. KSL News Time, 11:01.
It's a priority for us at this station to bring you all sides of a story and to talk about the news fairly, completely.
Get all the facts and be really aware. Utah's Morning News with us, Tim and Amanda.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
If your water heater's over 10 to 15 years old, congratulations. You've beat the average. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and I love hearing stories of people having water heaters that are really old and they're still doing their job. Unfortunately, most of us won't be that lucky. And when water heaters fail, it's usually in spectacularly inconvenient fashion. Whether it's an unexpected cold shower when we're already running late for work, or worse yet, coming home to a flooded basement, it's never fun. If you'd like to look into replacing your water heater before it fails, Any Hour Services is having a sale for any homeowners listening. Whether you're looking for a new tanked water heater or you want to see what upgrading to a tankless would cost, the plumbers at Any Hour Services can show you what options are available. And right now, you can save $400 on a tanked water heater or $1,200 on a tankless. If you think you might be interested, call Any Hour Services today and schedule your free estimate. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Hello, this is Congresswoman Celeste Malloy. I'm running for re-election to defend Utah's conservative values in Washington, D.C. Like you, I'm tired of government that spends too much, listens too little, and makes all of our lives harder. In Washington, I'm pushing for better ideas to keep the federal government involvement in our lives to a minimum. Let's keep the government in its proper lane. Keep me in Washington so I can keep fighting for you because we are just getting started.
Paid for by Celeste for Congress.
I decided to go to Mountain Heights Academy because online school makes me concentrate more on schoolwork, and we can work at our own pace. Each week has a schedule, but we can decide if we want to work ahead. We could have a 3-day weekend if we decide to turn everything in on Thursday. I really like Mountain Heights Academy because it's so flexible and it just works for me.
Mountain Heights Academy is an online public school for grades 7 through 12. Visit our website to learn how it can work for you.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum-free dry spray to keep that 24/7 lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind. It's like catching waves in Fiji. Actually, I just talked myself into a refreshing spritz of Fiji. My Old Spice is missing! No!
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Dino Day. Celebrate on June 1st at all Sinclair locations. And here's Ricky Meese.
We have an accident in South Salt Lake, northbound I-15, about 33rd south. The vehicles are on the right shoulders, causing some backups. Also, backups in Taylorsville. A KSL traffic trooper reporting that the traffic lights are out at 5400 South and Redwood Road, and I can see an officer in the traffic camera directing everybody through the intersection, then in Tooele County. A crash on southbound I-15 at the off-ramp to SR 36 Main Street. It's been moved to the shoulder. When adventure calls, a new Murdoch Hyundai is the answer. Lease a new 2024 Tucson for only $365 per month or 3.99% for 5 years. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy, dry, and warmer going into the weekend. Today's high 74, up to 83 on Friday. Then there's a chance of rain early next week. 68 degrees, partly cloudy. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
We're always talking about how bad the national debt is, and as of right now, it's at $34,555,000,000, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it is way, way, way up there. I wouldn't even know how high the dollar bills would have to be stacked to hit $34 trillion. We've been talking about it this week and how to tackle the national debt because we feel like on D2 we've got all the answers. But today we're going to specifically focus on, how do we get there? And there are really two paths to this, and one is through raising taxes or cutting spending. Today Dave wants to talk about cuts and the research he's done in that area.
Republicans want to cut spending. It's why there's the fights over the debt ceiling limit. There's a reason we're constantly pushing things down the road with the budget. Republicans want massive cuts to federal government. Democrats want massive tax increases. Now, they'll say, we just want it for the rich, but they want to pay for everything through tax increases. Republicans want tax cuts. Well, unfortunately, we probably need massive tax cuts and massive spending cuts as well. But the New York
tax
Times,
increases.
tax increases.
I was going to say, wow, what party are you with? The Dave Noriega party.
That's
We're
not what
cutting
Democrats
everything.
are saying.
You get a cut. You get a cut. So you're saying we need both. We need tax increases and program spending cuts.
Yes.
Okay.
The New York Times did an incredible job of breaking this down. This article is comprehensive as anything I've seen in a long time, because whenever we start talking about spending cuts in the federal government, what do? Oh, we absolutely need to cut this, and this, but don't cut that, right? Everybody has something that they don't want to cut. So, Debbie, I'll ask you. Here's the list of things where we could cut.
Okay.
Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, defense, and then there's a whole bunch of other different spending like food assistance, farm subsidies, military retirement, the VA. There's lots of stuff like that. So is there anyone there where you say, okay, don't cut this?
Medicare and Medicaid.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm big on healthcare.
Healthcare.
And keeping
for the poor and for the elderly.
Keeping people healthy. Yeah.
Okay. So those are two where you say, take that off the table.
Take it off the table.
Okay, very common. It's very common that someone will say, don't touch this. Tell me, why are you okay with, say, cuts in Social Security?
Well, because I feel like as responsible Americans, we should have been saving all along for our futures. Now, I don't want massive spending cuts in the Social Security program. What I want is incremental. In a graduated scale. So I would say anybody who's currently on Social Security, lucky you were born in the right year, you get to keep your Social Security. But, I'm 57, so technically I could start collecting Social Security in 5 years, kind of depending on what my income is and all that other stuff. I could sustain what I would consider to be a significant cut in Social Security.
Okay.
And still be okay financially. It would be better if I had all of it, but I'm willing to sacrifice a portion of it. And I'm 5 years out from retirement. So I don't believe we should just be looking at the 20 and 30 and 40-year-olds to take the brunt of this. I think we should extend it as much as we possibly can into our late 50s, 50-year-olds, or perhaps initiate a true means test. There's complicated equations with this. I think the means test we have right now is based on like how much your income is at this certain age. I think we could do a better job in incorporating with Social Security payouts what your investments are supplementing, how much money you're getting from your investments. Like, I don't think a billionaire needs to be collecting a $2,700 a month Social Security check. Okay, hopefully that was a quick enough take. I don't want to steal your thunder here. You've been the one doing all the research.
So I talked to BYU economist Mark Showalter, and I wanted to get his thoughts, number one, on does the national debt really matter? Does this $35 trillion that we're in debt, does it really matter? And this is what he had to say.
But it is something kind of like slow rot in the foundation of a house that eventually you're going to have some crisis and you're not going to be in a position to manage it very well.
He says this is a slow rot. We're not in, threat level midnight right now. So what should we cut?
The eye roll comes when they say we need to do the deficit, and then at the same time they say, well, I'm not going to touch anything on entitlements, and I'm not going to raise your taxes.
And not touch military spending.
And not touch military spending, exactly. So you got to have everything on the table.
So his problem is whenever we're talking about cuts, we do exactly what you did, Debbie. You're not alone. Everyone does it. They say, we'll touch this, but not that but not this. And we can't agree on the things to cut. So let me just throw some numbers at you. To give you an idea, if we were to not touch Social Security, don't touch Medicare, don't touch defense, those are kind of the big three. Medicaid would have to take a 70% cut. Obamacare, 70% cut. CHIP, 70% cut. Military retirement, 70% cut. That's how large the cut would have to be for 10 years to get the spending under control, to get the deficit under control. Now, if you just say everything else gets a cut, but not defense, that's something that Republicans are very, very famous for saying. Like, we want cuts everywhere, but don't touch the military. Every single federal government would have to take a 31% cut.
Every agency?
Every agency. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, everybody except defense would have to take a 31% for 10 years to get this under control. If you included defense, then that drops down to 27%. But that gives you kind of an idea what kind of reduction we would need. We would need to reduce the entire federal government by almost a quarter to a third to be able to get spending under control, the deficit under control.
I like the idea of reducing 30% over just like wiping out entire federal departments. Like,
just narrowing the scope of it.
I mean, I don't think we need to we could take a fly swatter to something. I don't know we need to take a howitzer to everything and just start eliminating. I think the states like to say, oh, we can manage, fill in the blank. We can manage education, or we can manage all of the public lands. No, you can't. You can't. I mean, it just, you need guidance. There needs to be accountability. I just don't think we have the staffing to do it at the state. And who's to say that the state wouldn't then suck all the money at the state level and raise taxes here? So I like the idea of just doing things incrementally, including cutting Social Security, but that's a big ticket item for me. I believe strongly that healthcare is so important. You cannot go through life, miserable because you have an eye infection that you can't afford to have treated. That's just not fair. It leads to, all kinds of other problems. You should be getting dental care even, because that can lead to other issues within your body if your teeth are on and on and on. So healthcare to me, and then so in return, what that ends up doing is we end up living longer. So then we end up milking Social Security for more. So I understand that it's not the perfect solution, but I think we have to start somewhere. And since politicians don't seem to want to start somewhere and take a serious look at throwing everything on the table and what gets cut, what stays, what goes, let's do it here on the show. Let's take live phone calls. 801-575-TALK. 801-575-TALK. Dave's done some great research here. I love everything that how you've explained it, Dave. This is great. I think we have to have this conversation because we're just going into a deeper hole. I mean, in the last 7 minutes or so, I'm sure the national debt has gone up to a number that I can't even...
Yeah, billions, right? I mean,
it's insane.
Yeah. So what do we want to know? 801-575-TALK. Are you willing to take a 27% cut? Like across the board, every government agency, 25% cut. Or is there something that you're like, do not touch this? Like, yes to cuts, but do not touch this. Let us know which one is untouchable. 801-575-TALK.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Here's a trick to podcasting at work and getting all the Utah news you love.
Download the KSL News Radio app.
The podcast for Utah's morning news and Dave and Debbie are right there. Dozens of podcasts a day.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
Can I tell you the one question I have never been asked on my soda weight loss journey? No one has ever asked me if soda weight loss works. Why? Because the results don't lie. I let go of 37 pounds in 90 days. Real results. And now I'm 2.5 years into my journey, still 37 pounds down, and have never felt better. Real results. The question I do get asked is, how does soda weight loss work? It's in the name. SOTA stands for state-of-the-art weight loss because it is state-of-the-art. Based on science, soda only employs nutritionists and dietitians who love helping people reach their goals and keeping those healthy results for the rest of their life. No fads, no pills, no potions, just science, nutrition, and someone who will guide you every step of the way to a better you. When it comes to your soda weight loss journey, there's no time to lose, only time to win, so start winning today. Your healthy tomorrow begins today. Make the decision that will change every day for the rest of your life. State-of-the-art weight loss, SOTAweightloss.com.
Get the news.
Salt Lake City is looking to shake up the zoning of single-family homes.
And a deeper understanding of the news.
2 homes on what was 1 lot.
Feels like an afterthought, and I think it's going to feel crowded.
Tim and Amanda catch you up first thing in the morning. Then join Dave and Debbie and Boyd Matheson for conversation about the news middays. And Jeff Kaplan has the latest developments on your drive home. For news and talk, we have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Les Olson IT is now a Rico Graphic Arts and Production Systems dealer. Rico chose Les Olson because of our reputation for superior service and national recognition. Les Olson IT chose Rico Graphics because they're the best value compared to other commercial-grade printers. Rico excels in high volume, high speed, high resolution, and offers an exciting 5th color. Learn more at lesolson.com.
Les Olson IT. Common Spirit Health has expert orthopedic care that gets you back at it and back to your best. Find skilled orthopedic physicians at Common Spirit locations who specialize in general orthopedics and repair of hips, knees, shoulders, and hands, so you can return to running races or chasing the grandkids. Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Orthopedic care with human kindness is here. Visit mountain.commonspirit.org.
In real estate, it's all about the amenities. I should know. I'm an agent.
At Hyundai, all of our models offer first-class features, like Android Auto, an available Bose premium audio system, heated front and rear seats, and wireless device charging.
It's like an upscale home on wheels in here.
It's your journey. Own every mile.
Right now, lease the Hyundai Tucson for $229 a month or get up to $2,000 retail bonus cash. See your Utah Hyundai dealer. Offers end 6/3/24. Call 480-500-7931 for details.
The life of a small business owner. Keeping the lights on, calling all the shots. And then there's workplace accidents. 500-degree ovens, rusty nails. Danger lurks around every corner. Workplace accidents can happen, but there is an easy way to keep your employees covered. Talk to your agent about workers' comp coverage from Pi, or go to piinsurance.com and get a quote. Safety first, then Pi Insurance. Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to policy terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
For fabulous food, atmosphere, and tradition, Five Alls Restaurant offers memorable dining for any occasion. Birthdays, anniversaries, proms, graduation, engagement, and more. 5alls.com.
Small business owners, we know tackling your to-do list can sometimes feel like going 12 rounds against a heavyweight champ. Except that heavyweight's gloves are made of something hard, like diamonds. So when a new to-do pops up, you're like, I can't. I'm boxing my diamond boxing glove-wearing heavyweight champ of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy with over 30 customizable coverage options, so you can finally land a knockout blow. See if you can save on business insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, the presidential debate that was set for October here in Salt Lake now looks like it might not happen. Second, Americans appear ready to pay for travel this year, even if they have a hard time buying groceries. And third, it was like something out of the movies. A gang of killers ambushed a prison van in France to free a criminal. 68 degrees, partly cloudy in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Dave just laid out the problem with the national debt, which is now at $34,555 billion. And that is that nobody wants to cut anything. I suggested kind of deep cuts to Social Security. That's the direction I would go in. But you rightfully pointed out I wasn't willing to let go of Medicare and Medicaid because I think health care is so important.
And the problem with this is the Republicans are always talking about cuts and fiscal responsibility, but then they do the same thing you just did. But don't touch defense spending. Don't touch it, right? So the New York Times did an incredible breakdown of what that means. If you want to get the debt under control, they said you would need 31% cuts across the board if you're not going to touch defense. 31% cuts across the board, every federal program out there, to get the national debt under control over a 10-year period. Now, if you include defense in that as well, then it drops it down to 27% across the board.
Oh, wow.
So it's still
Not that-
massive
yeah,
cuts,
yeah.
but it's not draconian. It doesn't end Social Security. It doesn't end Medicare. It just skinnies it up a little bit.
Kate from North Ogden, what cut would you want to make if you were at that conference table making these decisions?
Okay, I'm on Medicare, and I just got this thing from my provider, which I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Aetna, Aetna. Yeah. And they did it themselves, and this is what they included, and this is the kind of thing I think needs to go. They're not covering it themselves. This came in the mail within the last 2 days, and it said, we used to cover this, now we're not going to. Athletic shoes, camping tents, fishing rods, hiking poles, and National State Park. Now, what I'm saying is we can buy our own athletic shoes. We can buy our own camping tents. We can buy our own fishing rods. Fishermen will hate me, but, you can do this. The hiking poles, I would say save just because the people, it's going to cost them more if the people fall.
Break ahead.
That's
yeah. Kate, I need you to hold the line because our producer's going to hop on the line with you. And if you'd be so kind, I would love to see a copy, and you can, redact your name and your address. I would love to see a copy of that letter. That is phenomenal that you would join the show and share that with us because you're absolutely right. There are things going on within these programs that could be cut and would save a ton of money. I think about a story that broke, many, many years ago about the defense spending audit that showed, this might be partially hyperbole, but like gold-laced toilets and stuff like that. And so and these really, really pricey, handcrafted wood desks. And it can be an egregious amount of money that doesn't seem like a lot in terms of the $35 trillion in debt we have. But we got to start looking at these with the microscope like you just did, Kate. Thank you. Alan from Provo, what do you think about what cuts would you make if you were in charge?
Well, I think that's a great thing to do, a cut across the board. But I think the problem's deeper than that. And
Oh, no. Do we lose you, Alan?
Sorry,
Alan.
Can you hear me now?
You dropped out, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say, I think that would help, but I don't think it's the root of the problem. The root of the problems are elected leaders. We got to get them to get on board to get something passed. So, quite frankly, the way to make that, just say you guys don't get paid till you work out a budget together, because I'm tired of the two parties fighting together. It's just bogus. It's unrealistic, and it's all about them. And let's just get those. You guys get paid as soon as you can figure something out and come to. And if that's 31% cut, that's a 31% cut.
Well,
but
and
remember,
this came from government. This came from the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget. So they have this plan. They just have to rally around it. And I totally agree with you, Alan. It's on our elected politicians. If they can't get on board with these plans, specific plans that we can wrap our minds around, then get them out of there. Then you're done. You can't do your job.
We don't even need to give them a pay cut. We cut their jobs.
Yeah, we vote them out. You do that enough times, you'll be amazed at how quickly these guys adapt.
I love where you're going with that, Alan. Thanks so much for your phone call. Jake from Magna, I want to get you on the line as well. What cut would you make?
I think that ultimately it comes down to needing to we shouldn't be looking at increasing taxes, first of all. And I think it should stem from reconstructing like how we help with Medicare and whatnot, and what benefits are really needed on that front. Because I very much agree that our elected leaders, or the Congress on average gets $170,000 a year, and for us as civilians would have to earn $298 to get paid that, because the rest of it is tax. And so if they're getting paid that tax free, I'm like, okay, well, Biden is going to take away my benefits for my child next year, and they want to increase my taxes. How about, since we have to manage our money as civilians to take care of ourselves, that the leadership hold the same responsibility?
Absolutely. And we haven't done that. And this is a Republican problem and a Democrat problem. None of us have forced our politicians to make these hard decisions, because it's not easy to tell grandma, sorry, Social Security is going to be reduced by 25%. That's a tough thing to sell, and people get voted out of office when they even suggest it. Elizabeth in West Jordan, what do you think? Do we have you, Elizabeth? We might have lost you. Okay, let's go to Don in Layton. Oh, Don, are we doubling up today?
We're doubling up, my friend. Hey, because this is one of my pet peeve subjects, and here's another look at it, okay? Double government. Why do we have double government, okay? Let me give you quick examples. Every state has a Department of Transportation, an agriculture department. They have we have all these different state governments, but then you have the same thing federally, and so we're paying double. Why are we paying for a U.S. Department of Transportation? I get it. Department of Defense, yes. Medicaid, Medicare, yes. I understand the purpose of those being national programs. Social Security, yes. Okay? But when we've got departments that are in the federal government that every state's already doing, why are we paying for that?
Well, okay, Don, I'll push back on you. Thanks for your phone call. We appreciate your loyalty to the show as well. I'll push back on that. They lay down regulations regarding air travel. They also, at the federal level, they also, when we had the bridge get crashed into and destroyed in the Baltimore area. What was that, about 8 weeks ago? It's not the state of Maryland, right, that's going to be putting that thing back together brick by brick. The federal we have to have federal resources. If we had an entire section of I-15 collapse, just by way of example, I don't think the state would have enough resources to jump in and take care of the issue. There has to be a partnership with the federal government. So just wiping out the Department of Transportation or wiping out the Department of Agriculture. I mean, there's just a lot of things that they do. I don't think we're totally educated enough to make blanket sweeping, remarks and decisions about each. So like even defense, like you want to say, well, you want me to comment on defense and cutting defense. Well, I don't know all of the line items in the defense budget. I don't feel educated enough to talk on that, but I can talk on Social Security, and I can talk on what Medicare does, and I can talk about how important Medicaid is to those who can't afford health care on their own, and how much more it could cost us potentially if we don't allow for these programs. So I don't want to jump to conclusions and say we got to wipe out all these departments because we have a mirror type department situation going on at the local level.
I think I think it's a fair criticism. I don't know what the Department of Education does that my local school district and the state school
Well, you got to look
does.
into it.
Well, I have looked into it, I know, and they set big sweeping agendas that are far more detrimental than schools that are run on a local level. Schools run on a local level are far more effective than top-down mandates from Common Core programs. This is not something I'm unfamiliar with, and I think it's high time that we stop rubber stamping all of these federal programs and just keep giving them more and more money to expand and expand and expand, and we've got to make the tough decision to cut.
It's 11:31 at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour. President Joe Biden announced this morning he will not be taking part in the debates scheduled by the Commission on Presidential Debates. The director of the Hinckley Institute of Politics at the U, Jason Perry, tells Utah's Morning News part of the commission's job is to take care of issues such as the disputes over COVID policies in 2020, as well as rowdy audiences and allegedly biased moderators.
These are things that debates always fight about to try to make sure they get the best possible position for themselves, but it's really blown up this time.
The president and former President Donald Trump have agreed to two separate debates set up by their campaigns and hosted by CNN and ABC. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. The criminal who calls himself The Fly escaped from a prison van after heavily armed men attacked the van at a toll booth in France. 2 police officers were killed, 3 others wounded. Mohamed Amra is now the subject of a nationwide manhunt, with hundreds of officers now looking for him and the other suspects. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average up on the day 285 points, the NASDAQ up 193. And our KSL weather, it looks like sunny days and warming temperatures. That's next. KSL News Time, 11:33.
Here's a way to get breaking news updates anywhere you go.
At the store or in a work meeting, you can get breaking news on your phone.
You can quickly read it, swipe, or click for more. It's super discreet, super fast.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
When the weather warms up, it's like a stampede, except instead of dust stirred up by hundreds of hooves, it's a cascade of phone calls to Advanced Window Products. This is Jeff Kaplan. Soon as the sun shines and the snow's gone, people want new windows and frames from Utah's #1 custom window maker, and the wait for installation grows longer. But right now, you can get near the front of the line by calling for a quote and get $2,500 off when you purchase 10 windows or more. That's on top of the incredible savings for the highest quality double-pane windows and frames, any style, any color. See, at Advanced Window Products, they actually build the windows here in Utah, they install the windows, and they guarantee them for life. There's no middleman, and they can pass the savings on to you. They even offer buy now, pay later. So get in before the wait grows longer and get the $2,500 off. Get your new windows this spring. Make the call. Advanced Window Products, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100. Or visit AdvancedWindowsUSA.com.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi. I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can call and talk to a real person 24/7. Now, how can I help?
Yeah, I used my Discover card to buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover.
Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Josh loves springtime in Utah, but he hates to paint, so he called Rhino Shield.
We have a cedar-sided home at the edge of the woods, painted like 1980s beige, and we wanted something that was more of a mid-century and modern look. We were driving around and we saw a sign in somebody's yard and said Rhino Shield. It's not paint.
Rhino Shield ceramic technology is formulated for our unique climate here in Utah and is Class 1 fire rated.
Gave Rhino Shield a call, and in fact, they were fantastic with the arrangement on scheduling. The 25-year guarantee was important to us. This is our forever home, and we want to make sure that whatever we're doing is going to last a long time.
Utah, you can have the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
I'd say if you're thinking about Rhino Shield, just do it. It's been 2 years now, and it still looks like the day it went on.
This offer is limited, so call 435-246-4466, 435-246-4466, or rhinoshieldwest.com.
Go Rhino Shield.
Traffic and weather together are brought to you by Dino Day. Celebrate on June 1st at all Sinclair locations. Here's Ricky Meese.
We have the final cleanup of an accident northbound I-15 at 33rd South on the right. Trouble in traffic in Utah County. Several vehicles now out of traffic on the right shoulder westbound Pioneer Crossing at 1100 West, and that really jammed up traffic. And then we have traffic lights malfunctioning at Taylorsville, Redwood Road, and 5400 South, plus a surface street crash at 4500 South, 2500 East. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy, dry, warmer going into the weekend. Today's high 74, up to 83 on Friday. There is a chance of rain early next week. And right now, 68 degrees, partly cloudy. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
The online petition to get Samantha Corey recognized at her high school graduation in an American... The online petition to get Samantha Corey recognized at her high school graduation, which is would have been graduating from American Fork High School in the Alpine School District this coming next Wednesday, has grown to almost 2,000 signatures. At issue is the Alpine School District, accused of now blocking any recognition for Samantha, whether that be her name be read at graduation or her siblings be allowed to walk across the stage for her. She died of an aggressive form of cancer in January, but through all of her treatments, was able to complete all of the required credits to graduate.
So how in the world is this not celebrated and honored during graduation? That doesn't make any sense to me. The family apparently wants her siblings, perhaps, to walk in proxy for Samantha to go up, receive the diploma. That sounds like a beautiful thing to let happen. Why in the world would we throw up roadblocks for this?
There's a policy, Dave. The Alpine School District called the show earlier today and said there's a policy in place, and there's a reason why they're not, at least at this point, authorizing, giving the stamp of approval for Samantha to be recognized at graduation.
It's one that provides guidelines for appropriately remembering students who have passed. And a couple of the key aspects to this policy is that schools and students and staff members shouldn't feel obliged to participate in memorials or events. And it recommends that memorials typically occur within a week after the passing of a student. And so historically, that policy and those guidelines have been applied to graduation ceremonies. But I also want to say the district is not blocking anything right now. They're our district staff is deliberating it. They've heard from the principal and the community, and they're taking this seriously because they want to have empathy and compassion and make sure that every student feels loved and gets to celebrate this joyous occasion in an appropriate way.
We were taking phone calls earlier in the show asking people how they felt about this, if they would like to see this young woman honored. And one of our callers, Ted, called and said and told us the story of how he had lost his son to suicide, and they dealt with a similar thing where his son was not being honored during graduation. And we asked Ted to come back and join us. Ted, what would you like to have seen happen here?
Well, I'd like to see Samantha get honored and recognized, and I'd like to see her, at least maybe her siblings or at least one of them wear the cap and gown and be able to honor Samantha there.
Ted, what was your son's name?
Joseph John Domingo Boydezan Gallegos.
And he died by suicide last fall?
No, January 6th of 2021.
2021.
The same day as the same day as the government problem happened in Washington.
Yeah.
Same day.
Okay. And remind us, did you ask, or did your wife ask that he be recognized at graduation?
Yes, we did ask. Here's my wife.
Hi, is it Cheryl?
Yeah.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, this is Cheryl.
So remind us, you went to the principal and asked that your son be recognized at graduation back in 2021 or 2022?
Yes, we were. 2021. We were actually surprised that he already earned the credits for graduation. So I was happy, and I said, "Oh, can we also receive the diploma? Maybe his brother, my youngest son, would receive the diploma for him." And I was shocked that it is a policy. They cannot do that. So I hope that policy could be changed, because these young people have worked so hard for their graduation earning. It's just unfortunate that they couldn't be there in person. So
what would that have meant to your family if you had had some sort of recognition for Joseph during graduation?
How would you feel?
Oh, that was very to the fact that he died of suicide. Oh my gosh, it's different now for Samantha because it's a cancer, but I'm like thinking about it. It's just suicide is also like a cancer that it has been there for a long time. And my son just had that decision to end his life. And it would be very like a big step to healing for us if he would have been, his name was even mentioned during the ceremony of the graduation that he graduated. It's like he graduated in high school and he graduated from this life. So
we're so sorry. I know I've heard, I think it was on Fox 13, another news organization here. Cheryl and Ted, thanks for joining us. Samantha's mom said something to the effect of, it's like she's being deleted. It's like Samantha, they call her on the change.org petition. It's like she's being deleted. And I would feel the same exact way. These children work so hard, and then you add a childhood disease, cancer, an evil disease they're fighting through, and they're just put in a horrible situation health-wise. And then they're working so hard to get their credits done through nausea and vomiting and maybe chemo treatments, and then to be told, basically your child's deleted. They don't get a photo in the yearbook if they died, before the yearbook was printed. Cancer beat them to the finish line, graduation being that finish line. So too bad they don't get to be recognized. I mean, what in the world are we doing? What are we doing? What message are we sending? What does a life mean? I mean, a yearbook photo not being put in there for some kids, kids who go off to the military, not being recognized. I mean, this is the stories that we heard during the show, Dave, and then we've got Samantha's story. I mean, what are we doing to these kids? What message are we sending? We got to do better, Utah. We've got to do better.
These are our classmates, and I understand graduation is about more than just one individual person, but they are a part of that class of 2024, 2021, whatever it might be. There's nothing wrong with honoring them. If they earned their diploma, how in the world could we not honor that for a few seconds? It would mean so much to the family. This is an easy problem to fix. Now fix it, Alpine District.
Dave and Dujanovic.
A lot of us are filling our workdays with podcasts.
When you're working, go to KSLNewsRadio.com.
Click on Dave and Debbie's podcast and pick a topic and story length.
Podcast with Dave and Debbie. Then get to work with KSL News Radio.
Salt Lake City fat loss helped me in a big way. For a long time, I've been trying to lose weight. I've tried it on my own. I've gone through all the programs. Like everyone's gone through some sort of a program on their own, right? But it wasn't until I reached out to Salt Lake City Fat Loss and joined their program that I started seeing massive results. And when I say massive, I lost 57 pounds in 60 days. And because the results were so incredible, I stayed motivated in a way that I've never been able to stay motivated in the past. Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in just a month or two. I loved the way I felt. I loved the program. I did it without surgery and without injections. So I felt like I was doing it and losing safely and naturally. If you're interested, go ahead and get a free consultation with Salt Lake City Fat Loss by going to their website, slcfatloss.com. That's slcfatloss.com.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
My name is J.R. Bird. As mayor of Roosevelt, I increased transparency, led the charge to pass term limits, and kept taxes low. As your congressman, I will leverage my experience in the energy sector to champion energy independence and dominance. I'm determined to defend the unborn, secure our borders, uphold our Second Amendment rights, and bring the same level of transparency that we've upheld locally. I hope to earn your support.
Paid for by Bird for Congress.
Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. Listen, we're fiduciaries. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. That's 888-999-6370. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. Now, imagine how that would be if you could actually retire 3 to 5 years sooner than your plan was. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan, taking into consideration any rental properties that you have, any pension income that you have, your Social Security. Listen, we put that all together for you in writing. It will allow us to build your income based on inflation. You know, inflation has been rapidly rising. You and I both need a plan that whatever we start out our income at, in 5 or 10 years, we're going to need 40% more income. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. Westminster University is a private, independent, and comprehensive university dedicated to student learning. Dax Jacobson, Dean of the Bill and Vive Gore School of Business at Westminster University, joins us with more.
At Westminster University, we are dedicated to providing distinctive academic programs that prepare students for lifelong learning and help professionals adapt to a changing social, technological, and economic world. In addition to traditional undergraduate and graduate business programs, we are a pioneer in online, project-based undergraduate business courses and degrees. For example, our Bachelor of Business Administration degree is an online program that takes us 12 to 18 months to complete, ideal for working professionals and adult learners. Rather than attending lectures and taking tests, students receive one-on-one mentoring from faculty as they complete real-life projects that are relevant to their career, skills, and interests. Plus, thanks to a generous donation from the Fenton Family Foundation, BBA students can apply for a scholarship that reduces the cost of the program to as little as $2,500 per semester. Visit westminsteru.edu to learn more.
If you're seeking to complete your degree, progress in your career, or simply enhance your skills with the convenience of an online program, Westminster's Bachelor of Business Administration might be for you. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, Salt Lake City was supposed to be the site for a presidential debate in October. Now the candidates appear to be making their own arrangements. Second, a guy they called The Fly has been freed by men who attacked a prison van in France and killed 2 officers. Third, more vandalism overnight in Magna, windows broken in cars and at a church. 68 degrees, partly cloudy in Salt Lake City. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. Priced Out Housing. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
If you want to live in Beaver, Minersville, or Milford, have I got a deal for you. The Salt Lake Tribune did an awesome breakdown. It just posted a few hours ago, and I caught it because we love doing housing coverage on our show because we know getting a house is important to a lot of Utahns. You can't afford to do it. But this breakdown of the Salt Lake Tribune, it's just like it took my breath away because most renters, according to this article, people who are renting right now, Dave, can afford to buy in one county in Utah, and that county happens to be the metropolis of Beaver County, Utah. And I had to remind myself, have I ever been there? Probably have for news stories as a news reporter. But where in the world is Beaver County? And
on the way to Salt Lake, you stop there all the time.
I know.
Get some new tires.
Yeah. Median home price in Beaver is, are you ready for this? $185,000, according to this interactive graphic that the Tribune posted. $185K.
Good luck finding a job.
Most, around the median home price right now is right in about the $500,000 range. It's probably a little more than that. But you were doing the math over there on what a monthly mortgage would look like on $500K.
$500,000 with 20% down at a 7.6% interest is going to cost you $3,200 a month.
My goodness. It's unaffordable. I wonder if you could quickly do the math. I wish we had the Stern team on the line because Russell would be doing the math for us on the fly here. On $185,000, which is the median home price in Beaver County. $185K. Dave's doing the math right now.
$1,300.
Oh, my goodness. Let's all move to Beaver. What's so wild, though, about your calculation is you just gloss over 20% down, which would be $100,000. Nobody has $100,000 to put down, Dave. So do it at $20,000. I mean, that's even a stretch for a lot of folks.
On the $500,000 home?
We're looking at this article that just posted on the Salt Lake Tribune. I just always give credit where credit is due, which is it's got a great interactive map if you want to see how unaffordable housing is in the different counties across Utah. And Beaver County came in number 1 for most affordable place to buy a home.
So if you're only putting $20,000 down on your $500,000 home, that raises it from $3,500 a month to $4,100 a month.
My goodness. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so what does it look like in Utah County? The median sale price right now is $487,000. I just feel like $487,000 feels low to me, but this is all based on data. Salt Lake County, $519,000. where Dave has lived for his entire life. Well, maybe give or take a few years. Davis County, 505,000. Does that feel about right?
Yeah.
Does that feel about right?
Yeah, that feels right on point.
We talk about, I talk a lot about, the younger generation, our kiddos are going to have to move out of state. They're just going to have to move out of state to be able to afford to buy a house, if that's their American dream. Everybody has a different American dream. We can't apply our American dreams to our kids because housing is so expensive to get into. We've talked about other places around the country that are super duper affordable. But I got to tell you, Beaver County is very competitive with that. I don't know what the housing situation in terms of a number of homes on the market right now looks like in Beaver County. I didn't have a chance to research that. Caitlin, is that something you can research behind the scenes there for us and let me know in my ear how many homes are actually on the market in Beaver County?
Well, there's a lot of places around the state, central Utah, Carbon, Duchesne, Daggett, some of these smaller, more rural parts of Utah where it is what I would consider highly affordable. In Carbon, $215,000. We're just not willing to move outside of the Wasatch Front. The Wasatch Front is a premium, just like it is in any state. You can even find affordable homes in California if you move into the middle of the desert part of California, but everyone wants the ocean, and the ocean is expensive.
Well, who doesn't want to live in Daggett County? I mean, come on. Who doesn't want to live in Daggett County? If you want to move to Daggett County, Utah, the median sales price on a home is $315,000. We're all a lot more familiar with Tooele County. I've got a lot of listeners who live in Tooele. I've got lots of friends who live in Tooele. The median sales price right now is $450,000 in Tooele. So you don't have to move all the way to Daggett County. In Box Elder County up north, $410,000. What are y'all doing up there? $410,000. What are you building up there?
I remember seeing a place in Box Elder County that had 25 acres, and it had this brand new home, like $600,000-$700,000. But it was 25 acres. I thought, holy cow, it's just a different world in rural Utah.
Well, as of this evening, the number will be 0 because all the homes will be sold. But Caitlin just looked up for us on Zillow. Her search results for Beaver County turned up 116 homes on the market. That's an interesting looking design. Do you think that was? I'm sorry, I know you don't have a monitor on your radio dial, folks, but there's a home for $379,000. Looks interesting, an interesting design there, and Beaver might have added on to that. Here's one for $290,000. Dave, what is going on with this house?
Oh, cabin.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it a cabin? I don't know. It looks unfinished to me.
Kind of a cabin style.
There are some cute homes, but I'm not seeing anything for $185,000 in Beaver. Here's, I don't know where that is. $560,000. My goodness. So there's a studio for sale in Beaver. It looks like some sort of a development there with condos at $150,000. So you get 1 bath and 300 square feet for $150,000.
Well, if you're looking just for land, you can get a lot for about $100,000.
No, here's one right here. It's 8.28 acres in Beaver for $59,000 lot. I don't know if it's buildable. I'm looking at it.
You say it's 8 acres?
8 acres for $59,000.
Wow.
Dave's already in the car driving.
I'm out.
Driving to Beaver.
Road trip.
But I think what this tells me is it's just heartbreaking right now. It's a hard situation if you're renting and you want to get into a home at $500,000, and it's just very, very few people can afford that.
See, I take it the other way, where if you can, say you work remotely, you could move and find a quite affordable home elsewhere. If you could live in rural Utah and travel a little bit, this is ideal.
If an A-framed cabin is your jam,
a home's a home, Deb.
There's a home for you in Beaver, Utah. Hey, thanks so much to the Stern team. We always appreciate their support on the show. Learn your home's true value in 30 seconds. All you have to do is visit sternteam.com to find out more. Maria Chaleos up next. She's got all your day's news straight ahead.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is